Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polydub, and joining me, as always, for episode 30 is Inquisitor 8.1 Quiz. How are you other than freezing cold?
I may have to thaw a little bit, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, all right. And Jack from Bad Comic Reviews is here, of course. Jack, how the hell are you?
I'm cold. Hate winter.
Is it actually cold in y'all house? Like, is it just cold outside?
Dude, I've had to turn on the heat so high. Luckily, my room is a lot warmer than every other room in the apartment, and I don't turn on the heat in my room.
Right.
I don't know how that works, but it does.
I'm a little jealous of that.
Yeah. For me, it's I don't want to be that guy, but it's pretty warm and toasty in my place right now. Yeah.
Go to hell.
See, I apologize before I said it. I knew it wasn't going to be met very well, but oh, Pop-Tart said her heater's broken. That sucks. How cold is it in Texas there, Pop-Tart? Is the Arctic blast getting you down there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're winning on the cold front. Thanks, Poppy.
Yeah, and anybody in the center of the country generally, I've seen that map, and it looks like it's just radiating out centrally from the Midwest. You know, the cold. Fuck. I'm doing a quick roll call to see who's all here. Let's see. Mule 1066 is here, of course. Always appreciated. Evolved Potato. I have an Evolved Potato. I call it my computer. Cryptic is here. Bad Comic Review Streams is unfortunately always here. And Hey Camel, Annexer, and of course Lucky Pop-Tart, Ryan Walters, Shady Grin, how you doing? And Johnny Hellcat. What's up, Johnny? And Mr. Dax, there it is. So
You're a joke thief.
Mr. Dax thieved your joke?
No, you.
What?
I called your computer an Evolved Potato.
Well, yeah. I steal all the things and run off into the night with them. Be they Jack's ideas for 5-minute comic reviews or your pre-stream statements. What?
Yeah. I should be shocked, but I'm not.
Well, okay.
Sup, Rotten Corpse and Frosted Glass.
Hey, Frosted Glass, how's it going? Rotten Corpse, nice. I like it when the regulars show up. That's cool. Now, so I was thinking for the thumbnail when I was getting ready to do it this evening when I got home. What kind of thumbnail we want to go for? We want to go for something cold, right? But themed cold, not actually cold. So here, check it out. What do you think? Jack already saw this, but Quiz, you haven't seen it yet. So there we go.
Oh, more Zenoscope art?
It may or may not be Zenoscope. What gave it away?
Those sorts of sexy ladies, it's a fairly good bet.
I'm just saying, they have some fantastic artists working for them that really know how to draw. And not only do they not know how to draw sexy ladies, they know how to draw proportioned sexy ladies, unlike Rob Liefeld. Like, they look human. Like, if you look at the woman in the background there, she just looks athletic as fuck. She doesn't look inhuman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought I'd do the snow-capped snowman thing. I don't know. Seemed to work for me.
Is that Fairy Tales? It kind of looks like Fairy Tales. Grimm's
Yeah, it is. Grimm. Yeah. You know what's funny? I was looking for I thought I'd go with Emma Frost, right? That was my first thought. And I'm looking for pictures of Emma Frost, and I'm thinking, like, there's some sexy ones out there. But if you go on any kind of image search, and I don't care what search engine you use, and Bing, Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever, if you type in any female comic book character and hot or sexy or any other search term, the entire screen is going to populate with thought cosplayers.
Yeah.
You have to. Was that Jack?
Unfortunately.
Well, and some of them look good. Certainly not all of them. Yeah. I'm not making any claims. I'm just saying, if you can go do your own research and see if I'm wrong. And what kills me is the you have to use additional terms. You know what I mean? You have to type in comic or comics or comic book, and that still doesn't help. You have to type like art, drawn, if you know what I mean, just to somehow eliminate cosplayers. And I've typed in, minus cosplay, minus cosplayers to try and narrow the search parameters as I'm looking for these, images of comic book ladies, because every search engine is just absolutely full of thought cosplayers, man. There's no getting away from it.
I don't know, man. I just did, I just did that myself, and there's plenty
of thought cosplayers or of Emma Frost
of the comic book.
See, it might come down to your search terms, like, and the fact that Polly was searching thought cosplayers previously for different reasons.
Well, and you know what else I've learned? Turn your goddamn safe search on, because if you type in any, oh my god. Especially if the character's remotely known as a sexy character, like Emma Frost, like Rogue, like Storm, you know what I mean? Or Supergirl or whatever. The most disgusting, depraved things you can imagine come up if you leave your safe search turned off. Oh my god.
I don't know, man. I frequent ACO on 4chan. I see that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, by saying depraved, I think you're selling it more than you're really educating people on why to turn safe search on.
Yeah, right.
So Frosted Glass apparently has quoted me as, I want to eliminate cosplayers. Great.
Well, don't you?
No.
Just that ones.
I don't take that super hard edge thing that cosplayers need to. There are a bunch of thoughts and they need to get out of comic book conventions. We had this discussion over on Monkey in the Morning one night, and Dax took a hard edge on it that there's a time and a place and they don't belong there. And Monkey was like, I'm fine with them being there. And I was too. I'm like, I'm fine with them being there as long as they're not draining motherfuckers' funds and stringing dudes along and stuff. No, whatever. You want to fucking dress up as a sexy comic book character? Where else are you going to do it but a convention? That's fine. But I don't care. Let's go ahead.
Didn't we have an off-air conversation to this effect, and you did take the hardline stance of get them the fuck out?
Like I said, the only time that I take an issue with it is when they become like a drain of funds, or they become the focus, or that they're in the costume competitions.
What I think you're trying to say is you don't want them setting up their pay pickies.
That's right. That's a very succinct way of putting it. If you're there to be a cosplayer and you choose to dress up as a sexy comic book character, more power fucking to you. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you're there to try and find pay piggies, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's my call.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know about that. I think there's a certain level of legitimacy. I'm not sure if legitimacy might be the right word, but it's there's a certain sort of something. I'm not exactly sure what, but something that the thoughterly cosplayers bring to that sort of thing, simply by virtue of eye candy. It'll grab attention and I don't know, I guess pull people into that sort of thing. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a bad thing. It can be bad, especially if they're conning people out of money, but at the same time, that's free enterprise, and that's those people spending money are the people that are spending money. Just saying.
You know what? As a matter of ethics, I guess you're not wrong, because it is free enterprise. It is a voluntary transaction on both parts of the thought and the pay piggy. You know what I mean? It's just when I see people, not trying to name names, but when I see the meowries of the world out there sucking money off of fucking people that are just desperate to get a signed photograph from this person, it's like, it's not anger at her, it's sadness on their part. It's like, dude, go buy an actual girl a drink. You know what I mean? That, like, go to your local pub and ask a girl to buy a drink. It'll be, first of all, it'll be 1/10 of what you just paid for that photograph.
Yeah.
But hang on, this the safe option. It's less intimidating. There's no pressure. You're not going to get rejected because you're going to give her $20 or whatever. So it's a safe form of fantasy where there's absolutely no risk for the unsavory individual that's trying to bed her, because she's going to be polite to you, give you an autograph, and you'll fuck off, and you'll consider that a win, and you can continue your fantasy. Whereas you go up to a real woman in a social setting, she's going to be like, get away, loser. You smell like Cheetos and sadness. And next thing you know, you're crying alone, masturbating to hentai while playing Super Nintendo with your free hand.
So you're back into fantasy world. So what's the problem? And like, listen, in the real world, you're going to get shot down, man. Come on. You got to get shot down once, and when you're going to walk away and realize it wasn't that bad. And plus, when was the last time a real woman ever said to somebody, you smell like sadness? Come on now.
I've seen it happen.
To you? Like, this sounds oddly personal, man.
No, I've never had that particular one. I've had other ones that were pretty heartless, but not particularly that one.
In Frosted Glasses, I want to ethnically cleanse cosplayers. No, but speaking of cosplayers that I would like to cleanse, let's talk about Renfamous.
Well, yeah.
Let's go over to an article here. Bounding in Comics, Benjamin Henderson and John Delaroz accept Renfamous's challenge to debate. Have you heard about this quiz?
No.
Yeah. Now, see, I'm opposed to this picture. Okay, here's a graphic representation. Here's an actual photograph. This is not what Renfamous looks like. This is okay. The blue hair, yes, but other than that, like, and you know, doing the flexy thing, like, oh, come on.
Does she have blue hair?
What's that?
Does she have blue hair? The only pictures I've seen of her are in actual cosplay.
Right, and I have seen her in cosplay with blue hair, but whatever her hair is, she's a blue hair. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. As we read into the article, on Tuesday night, Twitter troublemaker Renfamous, he just left that off and just said,
yeah.
Lonely Twitter personality Renfamous challenged members of comicsgate to an in-person debate. Oh, I didn't realize it was in person, which was subsequently accepted by Ravage Kill All Men creator Benjamin Henderson. Renfamous, this is her tweet, by the way. My channel is real life. Sorry. That's just... My channel is real life. I'll debate in person on a panel at a con where you tools have to make eye contact with me and won't have Google and a chat full of slur screaming idiots to back you up. Any takers? I think this is an attempt to like fill the room with her fans. Does that make sense? So there can be a bunch of like slur screaming idiots, and you know. Anyway,
no, they'd just be slur screaming idiots, just of a different sort.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's an attempt to, she realizes that at con she can get a whole, anyway, that's my guess. Henderson responded to Renfamous's idea with an idea on how the debate would be constructed with, quote, 3 people on each side, tops. He also indicated that individuals could donate to the, quote, legal defense fund to protect people from online threats. Henderson even indicated that he would want John Delaroz and Ethan Van Sciver to join him in debating Renfamous and her team. Henderson's tweet reads as follows: I'm down. We can think of a good question to discuss and ways of bringing all sides together. Maybe just 3 people on each side, tops. At the end, we ask people to donate to a legal defense fund to protect people from online threats. What does that mean, even? Like a legal defense fund to protect people from online threats? You guys got any guesses?
Well, like, there's certain people that actually go and try to litigate online threats, like internet tough guys coming out saying they'll kill you, they'll rape you, they'll blah, 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 blah. All of the stuff that we hear that Anita Sarkeesian says that she got. Well, some people actually go and litigate that, unlike Anita Sarkeesian. So it adds a little air of legitimacy to it.
I'm afraid, though, that would quickly devolve into, you misgendered me, I'm going to sue you.
Well, it's across the divide, though. So people that actually have been doxxed and threatened, people like Ethan, people like Renfamous, unfortunately, but yes.
Flying Sparks creator John Delaraz was quick to accept the challenge following Henderson. I'll be down to come to a convention. Just let me know when and where. Henderson would go on to explain why he accepted the challenge and why he would want it to take place in person. Quote, I like debating in person too. I want them on tape with people around and our families in the audience to say things they say to us online. Let people see and have people ask them, let people see and have people ask them to explain the death threats and stalking by their SJW allies against vets and Christians. No, Henderson, I wouldn't agree with that. You're not responsible for what other people threaten to do. You're only responsible for your own words and intentions, in my opinion. It's like, you know, somebody who agreed with you said this one thing online. If that's what the debate's going to be, I'm not even interested in watching it or hearing about it.
No, there is one way where that makes sense, and the Renfamous would be the one that would have to answer to that. So absolutely go ahead and do this.
Why? Because Renfamous is like, it's all of us against them, so therefore takes responsibility for the anti-comic skaters?
No, Renfamous was the one that called for Ethan's docs and all that other information.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's entirely different. She's personally responsible for doing that. So you can ask her, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, she was asking for that information from other people.
Yeah.
I think what he's talking about is how when one of Ben's followers does something, they blame Ben, but it doesn't work the other way. If an SJW's followers goes and gets someone's information or says something, they're not held responsible. I think he wants to call that out.
Yeah. And it's like, don't you know that 1 out of 3 people are murdered by tweets, Polly? This is Kyle says. And it's like, well, okay, yeah. Isn't that the point? Nobody dies from a fucking tweet. You die from a specific threat. But if you're not the one who uttered the threat or issued the threat, like somebody may agree with me on a given, like, I don't know, like somebody who's in support of the Second Amendment. I'm in support of the Second Amendment. So some guy goes out and threatens somebody to kill somebody. Now all of a sudden I'm responsible for his threat because we both agree on that one policy? No. Disavow.
Well, you're part of the same category. That makes you as culpable.
And that's bullshit. I understand what you're saying. Like, that's the way the thinking goes. But if you're going to have a debate where 2 people are going to, or well, 2 sides are going to be debating, and it's like, yeah, well, so-and-so from your side said this. The response would be, yeah, well, so-and-so from your side said that. And that would fill 2 fucking hours of a debate of just back and forth and back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's the debate. Well, fuck that. Like I said, I'm not interested in watching that or hearing anything about it if that's what you guys are going to do. Because that's a bunch of bullshit.
But I am interested in filming it and putting it on my YouTube channel so I can make money off it.
That I would be interested in, yes. According to Ethan Van Sciver, Van Sciver would also respond in a series of tweets claiming Renfamous and her fellow Twitter user, SJW Spider-Man, would never debate him. SJW and Spider-Man will never debate me or anyone. They exist to lie and propagandize. They exist to harass and persecute people who see through their lies. They exist to entertain the worst SJW scum on the internet with their lies. A convo would make this plain. Wow. Ethan dropping truth bombs, huh? Boss logic. I'm serious. That's cold.
It would just turn into the worst Ski Tonka Saw thing where half these assholes don't even show up.
Right? Like Jack and I were talking about this like before we went on Stream Quiz, and we both agreed it would never end up happening. They would set it up and it would be Warski Tonka, blah, 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 forever and a day, and then not end up happening. It's a bunch of garbage.
Renfamous is the exemplary case of an internet tough guy when it comes to anti-comicsgate. So
fuck, I agree completely. Well said. Like, you know, the internet tough guy meme, that's her. Like the trash he talks. So I'm listening to Tug's stream today, right? His live stream earlier, and I couldn't agree with the position he took more. He's like, why are you even giving this person the time of day? She's nothing. She's a non-creator. She wants to be a player, and you're helping make her one.
Yeah.
Why would you even engage with this person? It would be like engaging with SJW Spider-Man. Fuck off.
Yeah, they're like, just rando spurgs on the internet.
Yeah.
And like in whatever tangential sort of way that they're trying to get into the industry is what she's trying to accomplish. And yeah, no, it's transparent what she's doing. It really is.
And what why she's of interest to me is, well, it's twofold. One, I think she's dangerous because she's out to dox. She will dox. She wants to cause legitimate damage to real people's lives, and it sucks. And things have gone so far that she herself got doxed, which I think sucks. But I think she's so mad over that now, she's going to dox anybody she can get her hands on their information. She'll do it because she's like, fuck it, they doxed me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was Kiwi Farms people that doxed her. But I think, well, she has said, no, it wasn't. It was some comicsgater who did.
She's just looking for an excuse to be even more of a bad person.
Yeah.
But now she's righteously angry. Before she was just angry. Now she's like been legitimately fucked over, which getting doxed is legitimately getting fucked over. Everyone should have just ignored her or attacked her ideas or laughed at her, not doxed her. That's fucking bad news because now she's pissed off as fuck and wants to dox everybody.
Yeah. No, it's those sorts of actions do not help. And it doesn't matter, if you feel like you're being righteously indignant or not. You just don't do it. That's a scumbag move. Never dox people ever, period.
Yeah, it's just not worth it because any problems that happen in their lives after that are now attributable to your side of the equation, and it's always going to be pointing the finger at somebody, and it's just not going to work out in anyone's favor.
I was going to say that, what the only problem with this is, though, Polly? You're scaring the living shit out of me because of the three of us, I'm the only one that she's quote tweeted.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, she says this thing. It's like Renfremus declined the opportunity to debate back in September. Nope. I'm just a nobody cosplayer after all. You're a liar. You think you're a fucking player inside the anti-comicsgate thing. I think the debate you're looking for is between a comicsgate funder and one of the many comic pros who have been relentlessly harassed by comicsgate over the past 18 months or so. Well, see, here's the thing. She announces herself and describes herself as the person, quote, in the trenches, her words, fighting on behalf of the comics pros who are being relentlessly harassed. Don't you guys bother responding to them, talking to Comicsgate people or anything like that. That's what we're here for. Send me the information through DMs and I will attack them for you. And comic pros do follow her. Like, seriously, look at the set of Marvel executives that follow Renfremus on Twitter.
Well, that's
this. I said that my problem with Renfremus is twofold. One, I think it's dangerous because she's angry after she got doxxed. And two, she's dangerous because she pros who are legitimately full on SJW and fully think that someone who voted for Trump is a Nazi that shouldn't be buying their comics, et cetera, right? They're really that politically judgy. They think Renfremus is really there to fight for them, and they are feeding her information, and they love what she's up to and follow her because of it. And those are my two problems with her. Her as an individual, I don't know. Or of course, I don't have a problem with her on that basis.
Well, she's a useful idiot. So she's a soldier that they put on the front line, and that's what she wants to be. Then you're taking shots at her. She feels special, and she's creating a buffer for those poor, incapable people that she thinks need her to white knight for them.
Yeah. It's not going to happen because drama is a seller and it's an interesting thing. And it's like, what the hell is this nut bar up to? Like when she was engaging Umbrella Guy with all of this, like these personal attacks on him and all of this stuff. And, people are like right now, Tug's dealing with all this shit, personal attacks where people are bringing up his 5-year-old daughter. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But that's how low some of these people are willing to go. Renfremus is not beneath that because people brought her personal life into it when she got doxxed. See what I mean? That's what makes her worrying and worrisome. Yeah. It's best to just like mute these people and cordon them off, but I don't think it'll ever happen because Twitter is a sewer and it's about drama, and that's where she operates. That's where SJW Spider-Man operates. That's where Pace operates. That's where, you know what I mean? Like it.
To be fair, though, I don't think that ignoring them is the right call either, because they need to be challenged. If they're not challenged, then how is the industry going to change? It's not. It's not going to change. Not because we've been proven time and time again, the bottom line is not enough for Disney to cut the fat out of Marvel. It's not.
I hear you, but she's not a producer. She's not a pro.
No, I get it.
She's a self-appointed mouthpiece on behalf of pros. And it's like, really? So you're being paid? Like, do you want to admit that openly, that you're being paid? I doubt she would. And maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Let's say she's not. Okay, so you're not being paid. Then why are you doing this? You don't have a job and you're bored?
Well, to be fair, though, Polly, the reason why she's so dangerous is because she does have that line of inquiry directly into the higher-ups in the comic book industry. So if she does get harassed or any of that kind of stuff, she can go immediately to them and say, see, look, the big meanie comic skaters are at fault here. And then it just makes them double down. At the same time, though, she can't just be completely uncontested, because then those people that are still going to do that, she's still going to, you know, say that the big meanie comicsgate people are no good. It's just that, you know, they're not going to have proof of the legitimacy. They're just going to still take her word for it. Regardless of what you do or say about her, she's still going to denigrate you. That's exactly what social justice warriors do.
Yeah. I think it would be more appropriate to screenshot the tweet, take her name off or black it out, and then address the concern there, because then you're not giving her the notoriety that she desperately wants. I mean, she seems to be doing a lot of things just specifically for attention. Cosplay is kind of a gateway for that, because I mean, really, she's like a 5 and she wants to feel like a 7, and this is just another way of doing that. She's trying really hard to get attention, and she's getting it, and that feeds the ego, gets that dopamine and endorphin hit. And I think if you're going to address anything that she says, address it pseudo-anonymously, so that she's not getting the recognition for making all these terrible points.
You know, that's a funny point. I can see her getting more upset about that than anything. If you were just to clip out the statement and say, here's somebody who's very angry at comicsgate and this is what they had to say, and I could see her going, hey, that's my tweet, like, you know, that making her more upset than somebody actually confronting her idea. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I'm not being recognized for saying that.
Yeah, because I think that's what a lot of it is. A lot of these people on both sides, actually, I would say, want to just to be recognized, and people like Ben Henderson are actually doing stuff. He's an actual creator, and I like the guy. I think he's pretty smart. Seems like a nice enough guy. He followed me on Twitter for a little while, so bonus points. But he should focus on doing good comics. And she's a nobody that's screaming into the wind, hoping somebody will respond to her childlike cries for attention. And the less direct attention you give somebody like that, the less hassle they're going to be in your life. Because eventually they'll move targets.
This is Kyle says, I find it funny that after years of not wanting to get into comics, that when I finally do, all this comicsgate stuff happens and it kills it for me.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why you've got channels like ours, so that we can bring you all the stuff that you missed.
Right. So we got, speaking of people that are just like non-producer hanger-ons types, written in the description for today was journos that should be fired. Let's talk about give some examples of journos that should be fired, like, because they don't really seem to have anything to talk about, but they're still talking. You know what I mean? Like, here's a good example. Venom stans are baffled by people who are thirsty for Ted Bundy.
Venom stans?
That's exactly what Jack said. He was just confused. Like, what does this mean, right? This is Mike Fugari? Fugari. Let's assume it's Fugari. Okay. So Mike Fugari. And by the way, guys, this is a CBR exclusive.
Oh, man.
Which, I don't know if you guys ever read CBR, like in chat, but they claim everything's an exclusive. And like, do you have an official story? Like meaning like a source that nobody else has, a photograph no one else has, a video clip of someone talking? No, it's just every time they write something that isn't cut and pasted from somewhere else, it counts as a CBR exclusive. Kills me. So a little like background. A stan is a creepily obsessed fan is the best way to say it. It comes from a song Eminem wrote back in the day called Stan, about a creepily obsessed fan.
Yeah, that's what Mustafa just said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm stuff like the Eminem song. Yeah. So it's Venom creepily obsessed fans are baffled by people who are thirsty for Ted Bundy. Now, how do these things even connect? They don't. It's just that Ted Bundy, it's like the whatever anniversary of his execution. So people are talking about Ted Bundy again. And CBR journalist Mike Fugari wanted to talk about it, but needed to connect it to comic books somehow. So threw Venom in there. Seriously. Like they got nothing to do with each other. The internet can be a magical place filled with endless irreverent memes, non sequiturs, how-to videos for installing the new headlight on your 2007 Ford Focus, and thoughtful think pieces on pop culture and like blah, blah, blah. Horrific images, unspeakable nightmare fueled, cyberspace. Like, dude, this is all in the first paragraph. It doesn't even make any sense. Second paragraph. Yet, sometimes the internet is home to particular trends which can ride the line between these two extremes. Every week, some new strange obsession or fascination, whatever, dude, get to the point. A group of fans deemed themselves, quote, Venom fuckers, and proclaimed their sexual urges from the digital mountaintop after witnessing the anti-hero's tendril-like tongue and shiny muscular physique. This is an article. This person wrote this.
This is an article about people that have a fetish for Venom.
Correct.
Why?
But it's actually about Ted Bundy.
What does Ted Bundy have to do with Venom? Okay, hold on.
Your confusion is justified, man. I get it. Like it's
Hey. Hold on. When was Venom created?
What it would have been what? 88, 89?
There is overlap here because Ted Bundy was executed in 87.
Okay.
Or sorry, 89. And
all right.
And Venom first appeared in September 1986 in Web of Spider-Man 18 as a teaser, and then actually as a cameo in Amazing Spider-Man 299 1988. So there is overlap, but what the fuck do they have to do with each other?
Right.
I think I know, actually. Ted Bundy had a lot of fans while he was in prison that would write him letters, love letters. And Venom is getting that now, too.
Is that where you think this is going? Let's find out.
Where it's going.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea. This sounds like the ravings of a lunatic.
Right. Of course, fetishizing superheroes and villains is nothing new. There's a lucrative business in fans crafting sexy versions of gender swap cosplays of characters. For example, there's blah, blah, blah. Okay, next paragraph. Media obsession over Ted Bundy has always been a thing. Oh, we're in fourth paragraph and you're actually referencing what's in the title. Nice. Media obsession over Ted Bundy has always been a thing. During his televised trial in 1979, he became a media darling and instant celebrity. The fascination with Bundy and his horrendous crimes has waned some since he was executed in 1989, but there's been a recent resurgence of interest. The trailer for Extremely Wicked. Okay, so you're just talking about Ted Bundy, famous, blah, blah, blah. Naturally, Twitter took notice of the sudden rekindling of Bundy fame, and the strangest of combatants against the love for the notorious serial killer came from self-proclaimed Venom fuckers and Venom stans after having their obsession compared to that thirst for Bundy. This begs the question, is one really weirder than the other? Okay, this is what I'm saying. It makes sense that these people, these journalists get fired. Like, you're just, this article's all over the place. It makes no sense. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let's say, so he's equating people's love and lust, that has to be, added there, for a fictional character to people's love and lust for a serial killer. One is fiction, the other one is fact. What do they have to do with each other?
Meanwhile, to the rest of us who are standing on the sidelines, shaking our heads and hoping 2019 isn't going to be a garbage fire. Yeah, the us isn't you, journalists. The us is me, Quiz Jack, in our chat, wondering what the fuck you're talking about. Jesus, the biggest factor in this sort of bizarre schism is the fact versus fiction aspect. Yeah.
Just brought that up.
Okay, are we done with this article? Let's talk about someone else that needs to be fired.
Well, I think Mr. Dax has a good point here. Let's see if YouTube bans me. The author should learn to code.
Right? You know what? Okay, first of all, I think I've got this article figured out. There's 2 prongs to this.
All right.
First is the fact that they didn't think anybody would actually click on the link. So they have to have some minimum number of articles up. So they just have a word generator program, and that made this article, and they're like, fuck it, post it. It's Ted, whatever. Secondly, is the possibility that Eddie Brock has a unibrow and Ted Bundy had a unibrow. Therefore, we have correlation.
No, look, hold on. I see skin. Look, he didn't have a unibrow.
He plucks his unibrow. There are plenty of photos to prove Ted Bundy had a unibrow. And I'd be willing to bet that is really what's going on. Unibrows lead to evil. Trim your unibrows, people.
Can you imagine working at CBR as some poor intern or lowly paid graphic design person, and somebody comes up to you and says, I need you to give me a montage picture of Venom and Ted Bundy? And the person's like, wait, what? Why?
I've got one of those right here. Hold on. Put myself to it earlier.
Like, I just love, like, Venom stands are baffled by people who are thirsty for Ted Bundy. Wait a minute, you didn't say they were baffled. Oh yeah, they're baffled because they're being compared to them. I get, by what? Did one person say this in the dark corner of Twitter, and now you're writing an article off of it, Mike Fugari, and your CBR exclusive?
Yeah, probably. Hang on, I'll show you a picture. I got a photo here of Ted Bundy's unibrow. Show you how evil he looks. Look at that. Look at this. This is a sinister eyebrow.
Are you sure it's not a shadow?
Nope, that's a unibrow.
There.
He is pure evil, so you can still see it here too.
Yeah, there's no denying Ted Bundy's got a pretty maniacal look about him. But Ryan Walters here in chat has an excellent point. Wouldn't it make more sense if the obsession was with Carnage rather than Venom? Yes, because Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, was a killer.
Yeah,
it's just, you know, he just, Eddie Brock just wanted Spider-Man / Peter Parker dead. That was his obsession. For just reason. Well, in his mind, like, you know, the focus of his anger was that?
And Ted Bundy wanted college girls dead. So there's another connection.
No, did you mean that ironically?
Yes.
Okay.
You were so concerned for a second there, Polly.
I just started getting into it, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe he was kidding. Okay, so let's look at some other journos that need to be fired. Specifically, Kalia Hale Stern. She writes for the Mary Sue, and her last name is Stern. What do you think the odds are she wears problem glasses?
Pretty high 90s.
Pretty good.
Okay, so a rumor says Marvel's Black Widow movie could be rated R for a terrible reason. So everybody wants to know why, right? It's like, Black Widow, what is it? Are you going to get ScarJo naked? Like, you know, like that was my first thought. Like, or is it going to be like, she's going to be like ripping motherfuckers' heads off? Like, is it going to be for violence, nudity? What? So I read through this, right? And I won't torture you guys with it. There is no answer given. There's no answer given. Not really. It's like, well, it hasn't been officially confirmed. So this entire article's speculation and bullshit talk about rumors that may or may not have actually been spread. Okay. This is, like I said, is it a shock these people from garbage tier websites get fired? Not to me. I get it. You know, the Black Widow solo movie appears to be moving ahead with director Kate Shortland, screenwriter, blah, 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 and star Scarlett Johansson. It's not surprising that Black Widow could, according to rumors that may or may not have actually happened, be poised to be Marvel Studios' first R-rated superhero feature. But a rumored reason for why Black Widow will be the test case sets my teeth on edge.
Well, you know what I can see that this whole article and the reason for them publishing it is trying to bank on controversy, like with Deadpool. Deadpool being the first superhero R-rated movie. Definitely. Well, was it the first? Was Blade R-rated?
I think Blade was R-rated.
Yeah. Well, Well,
Yeah.
at least 3 was.
Well, Blade never gets credit for being a superhero movie anyway, right? So it'd be understandable why it gets left out. And that's racist.
It is. It is. But no, I can see them doing that specifically because, number one, it's a woman with being Black Widow. Number two, they're trying to bank on the lightning in a bottle that was Deadpool.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
to associate the two.
And lightning in a bottle can't be recreated, but it's never stopped Hollywood from trying.
Yep.
Never, regardless of genre or time. So the first paragraph is all bullshit. The second paragraph is about how a fucking R-rated movie would make sense, blah, 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 right? So like here we are 2 paragraphs in and you haven't even gotten on to the fucking point yet. And you wonder how these people get fired, okay? It's more a time when an R-rated MCU production, it's more than time for an R-rated MCU production. Movies like Deadpool and Logan are superhero films that can't, see, still haven't gotten to the fucking point. As Comic Book points out, in regards to the Black Widow rating rumor, however, the studio's thinking here could be less than daringly experimental. Comic Book cites the Hollywood gossip blog Crazy Days and Nights, which ran the following quote, blind item revealed on Black Widow. Now get this and listen closely, because this makes little sense, at least to me. If the experiment goes horribly wrong, they have a woman to blame for it, which is what this studio wanted. The A/A- list is mostly movie actress. All of you know has a franchise installment that is going to stretch the boundaries of who watches the movies. Like I tripped up on that because it's really awkward wording. Like, what are you saying?
It's a dumb way of saying exactly what I was saying before. It's the fact that they've got a woman, an A-list celebrity driving a female superhero R-rated movie.
So
yeah. See if it's then it's those evil penis waivers' fault.
Well,
because if the R, they go on to talk about this, that if an R-rated movie fails and it's directed by a woman and starring like with a female lead, then they'll be able to blame a woman, and that's what Mary Sue's weighing in here on, right?
Yeah, and say that's what I was going to bring up is the fact that it's that they can blame a woman, but that's exactly what the Mary Sue would fucking do.
So
they did that with Solo.
Yeah. So it's like they have a woman to blame for it, which is what the studio wanted, end quote. In case, ostensibly, the R-rated experiment for Black Widow goes wrong and the film is poorly received, makes me want to throw my computer across the room. I think most things make you want to throw your computer across the room, stern lady. Black Widow will have a female screenwriter, a female director, Marvel's first solo outing, after Captain Marvel was co-directed by Anna Boden. See, it's got to be can't have a co-director woman. It's got to be a solo director woman, because it's always about first, right? If it's not a first, what do they care, And will be the only second Marvel movie to have a female headlining a feature film of her own. The idea that the studio is already looking ahead to a potential failure, according to an unsupported rumor from nowhere, will be keen to pin any such failings on the production being female fronted. Makes me hope that when I throw my computer across the room, it explodes and sets the world on fire. Like, what the fuck, lady? Okay. Of course, this is only a rumor. Great way to point that out. And then it goes into Birds of Prey and then talks about 19 movies with male leads, blah, blah, blah. If Captain Marvel underperforms in March, now she's talking about Captain Marvel. Needless to say, big movies starring big male stars don't seem subject to the same thought process. And then she starts talking about how Thor is what she starts talking about the second Thor movie, how it didn't go well, but yet they made a third. When a movie isn't great, into the next paragraph, you need to course correct. And they did so with Thor, and the Russos took over. Okay, what the fuck?
This woman get fucked. She did exactly, these people did exactly that with Solo. How many fucking articles were written about how, well, I guess that means that we don't need any more movies starring straight white men anymore. It proves that they don't fucking sell. You can get fucked, cunt.
Yeah, well, okay, listen, check that. No, I understand the anger, because no matter what, they're going to be mad and find a reason, as she said, to throw a computer across the room. She gets mad at everything all day. The last paragraph ends with, Movies like Logan, Deadpool, and especially Wonder Woman demonstrated that you can bend any previously established boundary as long as the movie is entertaining and worth watching. Studios should keep this in mind. Stop making crappy films laden with uninspired scripts, and you can just do about anything. Now let's go back to it. A rumor says Marvel's Black Widow movie could be rated R for a terrible reason. What was the reason it's going to be rated R? That's some clickbait bullshit. You didn't say in the entire course of the article.
Yeah, she didn't say why at all. It was, yeah.
nor did the rumor say why. That bullshit rumor from the dark corner of whatever Hollywood fuckery hole it crawled out from just said that it was going to be rated R. That's it. And your headline, Kalia Hale Stern, makes it sound like your article says why. Fuck you. You should have been one of the fucking journos that got fired who needs to learn to code.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Well, I think this comes back to the fact that this lady is very emotionally disturbed because she wants to throw her most expensive piece of equipment at the wall. And I'm sure whatever mental hospital she visits on a regular basis would be most upset to learn this.
Yeah.
I know you guys are probably sick of hearing this from me at this point, but all of this stuff is really obvious and it has nothing to do with the whammon or nothing to do with mail or blah, blah, blah. It's got to do with bankability. All the other cast of the Avengers is done with the Avengers now. They were all bigger heroes. Black Widow in the comic books is a side character. In the movie, she was a side character. It's fine. It's not about her being a woman. It's about the role that she's playing. Now that all the other main characters are done, the one who doesn't have any superpowers, who has the least interesting, like, fantastic superhero story background, Natasha Romanoff, is the only one that's left. So they're going to make a movie out of her because she's the only actress still interested in playing the role. That's why the film's being made. It has nothing to do with sex. It's just got to do with bankability. Quit reading into it.
Hate facts. She's a side character because she's been sidelined by evil men.
Well, you know, it's funny. Black Widow already has a movie. Do people not know this? It's an animated movie. It's Black Widow and the Punisher.
There's a Black Widow Punisher animated movie?
Yes, and it's actually really good.
Really?
Yeah. Black Widow's played by Jennifer Hale. Fucking great voice actress.
Hold on, I gotta look into this. I've never heard of this.
Yes, it's amazing. It's a really, really good movie.
That would be an interesting team up, actually, because neither of them are super powered, so it would be like no fighting space aliens, and you know.
No, it's really good.
I should probably not be doing this live on the stream. I'll do this later.
I'll bring it up here. I'll show you a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, Avengers Confidential. There it is.
Yep.
Cool.
And not only that, it's done by the same dude that did Ghost in the, or no, not Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll. So it's Japanese. Shit. Yeah, it's Japanese, dude. Fucking here, I'll show you a screenshot from it. It's fucking brilliant. It's a great cartoon, man.
Oh yeah, look at Punisher's face. That's total Japanimation, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's total Ninja Scroll too. I mean, there's actually a really good series of vignettes about Batman, and one of them is done by this same animator. It's in Batman Gotham Knight, and he knocked it out of the park with Batman. There's no reason to believe that this isn't good, and I've seen it and it is good. So
sweet. Okay, I had never heard of this, and I will be looking into it after the stream. Nice.
Yeah, I never heard of this either. Good catch.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's super cool. All right, chat, you guys should all look into this. We will review Avengers Confidential, Black Widow and Punisher next week. How about that?
All right.
Yeah, no, this is I love bonus material I've never heard of, and Black Widow material that is not absolutely steeped in the MCU and Scarlett Johansson. Oh, I'm all about this.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fucking great. All right. Like if you guys remember last week's thumbnail was Black Widow, right? You know how long I had to look for a sexy image of Black Widow on image searches? That wasn't like a cosplayer or fucking a Scarlett Johansson picture. It wasn't easy to find, man. Shit. Well, of reasonable resolution anyway. You could find like panels, but they were all like 200 by 200 pics, you know? So what do we want to do next? Do we want to do something Star Trek related, something Black History Month related, or something transgender related? Your choice.
I think Quiz found one that he wants to watch.
No, just fucking roll the dice, dude. All of them sound terrible.
Okay, let's go with what's the shortest one? Oh fuck it. Let's go with the Black History Month one, because that's coming right up, February, right?
Mm-hmm. Day after tomorrow.
There we are. Disney and Marvel Studios announced free screenings of Black Panther for Black History Month.
So woke.
So we were cracking some jokes about this, and we were like, the jokes write themselves. Yeah, when you guys do this, you write the jokes for us in a way that we, like we don't really want to tell these jokes, but you're making them happen. Like Wakanda's not real, guys.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a suburb of Chicago.
When you show a fictional superhero movie for Black History Month, what you're saying is, in effect, that can be read into it, and I'm not saying this, I'm saying it can be read into it, that there's no real history to talk about, so we got to show fiction. And that's not true. So what are you doing?
In a way, this is sort of like playing Song of the South for Black History Month. You're saying, oh, we're going to pat you on the head and show you this movie about a fictional land to appease you. I mean, it's not like, Glory or any Denzel Washington movie that I would actually watch. No, it's about a fictional place. It's so pandering and lazy.
Okay, you know what? Mustafa McSweet says, fuck any other movie made by black people. Now, it's true. Right? You had a huge behind the camera presence for Black Panther. It wasn't just that it was an African-focused movie about Wakanda, so therefore a lot of the actors and the villain, who was fucking great, by the way, that's not it. It was also the behind the scenes crew and the director and everyone else. Okay, yeah, but it's not Black Achievement Month, and it's not Black Cultural Month. It's Black History Month. So what are you doing? Like, there's lots of great real African history to talk about, Lots of it.
Isn't there a documentary out there on Frederick Douglass or something they could play?
Oh, yeah. Like, when you got
way more interesting.
Frederick Douglass was the fucking man. Like, the guy who, like, I could never be as verbose and eloquent as that man, and he was completely autodidactic, 100% self-educated, born in slavery. I mean, that guy's the man. And you're going to show, like, fictional T'Challa and call that Black history? That's sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my call on it. Like, this was a bad move on Disney's part. This is corporate thinking right here. You know what would be great? Why don't we got a black movie? Why don't we show that for Black History Month? Like, you know what I mean?
Like, it's black movie.
No, but seriously, it's corny corporate thinking, right?
This is like sad racist grandpa material.
That's what I'm saying. This is,
there's a missing opportunity here. There actually isn't a movie theater in Wakanda, Illinois. The closest is Lake Zurich.
Wait a minute, you're trying to tell me there's actually a place in Illinois called Wakanda?
Yes!
Oh, okay. I thought you were kidding.
It's not spelled the same way, but yeah, there is a Wakanda, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why I said before we went live, when you mentioned this article in passing, I said, I expect to be paid to see this movie in Wakanda, Illinois.
I thought you were kidding.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, this is just bad. Should have just let them watch Django. Yeah, Django Unchained, man. I guess, like, it would have been like, I mean, at least that's historical revenge fantasy.
That's lazy revenge porn.
Okay, like Posse by Mario Van Peebles is more historical than Wakanda. I mean, Jesus Christ, whoa.
There is one. Elm Theater in Wakanda, Illinois.
Yeah, see, if they were smart, they would have rented out that entire theater and just played free screenings it'd be slightly less offensive. But
Right?
sorry, man, this is just bad move.
Let's see how they justify it. This K. Disney and Marvel Studios announced that Black Panther will return to a select 250 AMC theaters to celebrate Black History Month. Not only will the film return to theaters, but Disney ensures tickets to the showings will be free. For what? The poor Black people? What? Okay. Jesus, this is getting bad. I think Black people can afford to buy tickets to movie theaters. This is terrible. I mean, seriously, there's so much low-key racism in this. Am I reading into this? Am I wrong?
No, I'm hearing it too.
Yeah.
Along with bringing Black Panther back to theaters for free, the Walt Disney Company revealed they will provide $1.5 million grant to the United Negro College Fund. What? All right. Disney CEO Bob Iger discussed why Disney is... Oh, this should be good. According to Bob Iger, here we go. Quote, Black Panther is groundbreaking for many reasons, including the rich diversity of voices behind its success. The story also showcases the power of knowledge to change the world for the better and the importance of ensuring everyone has access to it. We're proud to provide the thousands of free screenings of Black Panther in hopes it will continue to inspire audiences and support the United Negro College Fund with a $1.5 million grant to make the dream of higher education a reality for more students. Okay.
Wait. So, are they showing this to inspire people to go to Africa and challenge kings to a fight? I don't understand what's so inspiring here.
No, they're challenging people to go to this suburb in Illinois and settle down.
It seems kind of racist.
So, I'm just reading what the United Negro College Fund president, Dr. Michael Lomax, said in regards to this. He talks about grateful to the Walt Disney Company for the scholarship money, right? I recall the excitement that we all had when Black Panther was first released, and it's fantastic that Disney is bringing the record-breaking movie back to the big screen so that we can relive that excitement. Wakanda forever. Dude. Okay, not to be left out, AMC CEO and President Adam Aron said, almost a year ago, movie lovers were transported to Wakanda, and the guest response to Black Panther? Oh, the audience response to Black Panther was unlike anything our industry had seen before. AMC is excited for this Best Picture nominated film once again to be accessible on the big screen. We are pleased to play a constructive role in Disney's generous support of Black History Month. This is not good. Okay. Yeah, and then they just talk about Black Panther is nominated for 77 Academy Awards, including costume design, music, original score, music, original song, best picture, production design, sound editing, and sound mixing. There it is.
Mustafa just said, like, they do realize they would never be let into Wakanda, right?
Right. James Colley says they make attendees bag their own popcorn. Frosted Glass, man, these white guys who created Black Panther sure did a great job. Yeah, thank you, Stan Lee. And was it Ditko? No, Kirby.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say Jack Kirby. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not reading what Mr. Dax wrote. That's racist.
Yeah, it's not grape juice. It's purple drink.
Oh God.
Oh man, jeez. Although I do like James Colley's idea of having Shaft as a double feature, because I do like Shaft. That was a fun movie.
Oh, dude, Shaft would be a great Black History Month movie.
Yeah, that was a
John Shaft was not a real detective.
No, but at least that one was like kind of groundbreaking for its time. Because
so was Black Panther. What's your point? Neither of them have anything to do with Black history.
At least I could say that there are detectives that are black.
That's
as
true.
Opposed to superheroes. You know?
Oh no! The Elm Theater was demolished. Damn it!
No free ticket for you, Whitey.
I know, right?
All right. So let's go on to transgenderism going on in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Probably also more historically accurate than Black
Panther. Transgender actor Zach Barak to play Peter Parker's classmate in Spider-Man Far From Home. I bring this article up just for the tweet that Zach Barak sent out and the picture that Bounding Into Comics put underneath. Okay. Transgender actor Zach Barak, 23, has been cast to play Peter Parker's classmate in the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home film. Barak took to Twitter earlier this month to hint his role in the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home movie. He posted the following tweet after sharing the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Get his tweet. Being able to work with other trans people is a gift. Trans people are a gift. I'm so lucky to be me.
Okay. Good for you.
Where's Platy? Where's Chaos Eve when you need them? They would be the most offended at this as trans people. Like, trans people are a gift? No, the ability to transition would probably be a gift of alleviation of your gender dysphoria. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is weird what you're saying here.
I don't understand what's being said. Being able to work with other trans people is a gift. Trans people are a gift. I'm so lucky to be me. What other trans person?
I don't know. Maybe there's someone else that they've worked with in the past that's been trans.
No. You know what it is? They're gonna put like 4 or 5 trans people in the background, and they're gonna be a bunch of like extras that you're not going to notice and won't care about because they don't have speaking parts or some bullshit like that. And that's what they're probably talking about here. This is ridiculous.
It is. This is pandering. Like, not like, okay, his tweet is just difficult to fathom, but the notion that they're talking about this as an achievement is ridiculous. So I love this. Look at the picture. The frozen moment from the trailer. It looks like they're responding to reading his tweet. Spider-Man is struck without words, and she's just laughing her ass off.
Is that the trans actor there?
Maybe. I don't know. I think that's Aunt May, isn't it? I can't tell. It's kind of blurry.
I can't tell, but no, this is dumb. Who cares? It's a background character. If it's not the focus of the movie, I don't give a shit. A waste of my time.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's like they kept saying, if you'll notice, like a classmate, a classmate, a classmate. Does the character have a name, or is it classmate 3? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's gonna be classmate 3. There'll be one line in there that the actor speaks, and that's it. And I like Mike Parletti's comment. Can I play a fat guy? I'm the best fat guy. Being a fat guy is a gift.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's perfect. Like, it just sums it up, right? And I don't know if that's a very pretty trans woman, if that's a trans woman, but I think that's Marissa Tomei. And nonetheless, I like the freeze frame. It looks like Spider-Man shocked into wordlessness, and she's laughing her ass off at that. I'm so lucky to be me.
If that's supposed to be Aunt May's pretty hot, man.
Dude, Marissa Tomei is milfing it like crazy. Haven't you seen any of this? Oh, you haven't seen any of the Spider-Man films, have you? Yeah, no, she's looking good in her older age, man.
Frosted Glass has a really good point. Shouldn't Mystique be the Marvel trans icon?
Good call.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good call.
And wait, who is the supermodel they got to play Mystique in the first X-Men movie?
Rebecca Romijn.
Yeah, Romijn Stamos. Yep.
Well, hasn't been Stamos for quite some time, but yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
She was hot. Oh my god.
Yeah, she was shockingly hot. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're into the blonde thing, I'm not terribly so. She was hot in the blue, is what I'm getting at.
And the red. Yeah.
All right. So, did you know, Quiz, that there is the title's been revealed for the Suicide Squad sequel?
No.
Yeah. You don't sound excited to find out what it is.
I'm not.
Are you sure you don't want to know? Because I don't know what it is either, but I have an article that reveals it.
All right, go ahead.
Let me guess first. It's going to be Suicide Squad 2, even worse editing.
Okay. Suicide Squad 2, pop music galore.
Hey man, I like the music in Suicide Squad.
Okay. Warner Brothers and DC revealed the new title for the Suicide Squad sequel. Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment revealed the upcoming Suicide Squad film that is being written by James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely directed by Guardians of the Galaxy director. Has a new title. That title is The Suicide Squad.
Seriously, that's it.
No, now it's no longer Suicide Squad. It's the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Yes.
Are you
Along
sure
with
it's-
revealing. Along with revealing the new title, Warner Brothers announced the film is expecting to hit theaters August 6th, 2021.
Cool.
Given the title of the film, it's hard to believe that this will be a sequel to David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which debuted in 2016. It's more likely this will be a reboot of Suicide Squad, and I wouldn't be surprised. Never say I in an art. Fucking journalists.
All right, hang on. Let me address something in chat real quick. Mustafa said, "Can we get another animated Suicide Squad movie?" There was, and I refused to watch it because Harley was voiced by Tara Strong, whereas the first one she was voiced by Hayden Walsh, whom I actually really like as Harley. But Tara Strong is so bad at Harley. Stop casting her, Warner Brothers.
So, first of all, let me point out, I like Mike's comment. It should be called Amanda Waller in the SS. And second of all, this one, how many kids are they going to diddle in it? Because it's James Gunn.
Oh my God. No one's going to get diddled. There will simply be a lot of jokes about diddling kids. It's different.
It is.
Is it?
It is.
Quiz feels very strongly about this.
I did joke police.
Well, I didn't disagree with you.
I'm not disagreeing either. I'm just saying where there's smoke, there may be some fire.
I'm just saying if a guy can crack jokes about diddling kids, why can't we crack jokes about him cracking jokes about diddling kids? That's all I'm
perfectly fine about that, but people aren't cracking jokes. They're trying to get him fired. And persona non grata.
That Frosted Glass nails it, right? What are we? Some kind of the Suicide Squad? Yes.
No. Do you think James Gunn is friends with Bryan Singer?
Ouch.
No, I don't think so.
If they are, then there's definitely some fire where there's smoke.
Well, Bryan Singer was in superhero movies long before James Gunn got into them.
Well, let's talk about Bryan Singer. Now that's a segue. Bryan Singer blackballed by Hollywood after new allegations of sexual misconduct. More? Oh my God.
Yeah.
A new report indicates the original Bohemian Rhapsody director and X-Men Days of Future Past director Bryan Singer will never work for a major Hollywood studio again following new allegations of sexual misconduct. Page Six's Richard Johnson reports that the only studio that will work with Singer is Avi Lerner's Millennium Films, which produces The Expendables and will produce the upcoming Rambo film, as well as Hellboy and Red Sonja. Lerner defended Singer after new allegations of sexual misconduct were reported by The Atlantic. The over $800 million Bohemian Rhapsody has grossed, making it the highest grossing drama in film history, is testament to his remarkable vision and acumen. I know the difference between agenda-driven fake news and reality. I'm very comfortable with this decision. In America, people are innocent until proven guilty. Lerner would later clarify his statement to The Hollywood Reporter. I don't want to apologize. I just want to clarify the statement. I think victims should be heard, and this allegation should be taken very, very seriously. I just don't agree to judge by the Twitter. The Twitter? Okay.
The Twitter.
Yes. I want the accused to be judged by the court. Lerner's statements come after Singer was the subject of an article in The Atlantic where 4 new individuals accused Singer of various degrees of sexual misconduct, from seducing them while they were underage to rape. Singer issued his own statement to the new allegations. Let's see. Last time I posted about this subject, Esquire magazine was preparing to publish an article written by a homophobic journalist who has the bizarre obsession with me dating back to 1997. Wow. After careful fact-checking and in consideration of the lack of credible sources, Esquire chose not to publish this piece of vendetta journalism. Come on, 90% of journalism is vendetta journalism, man.
Yeah, right.
Have you seen CNN? I mean, they're not out for news.
Have you read the Mary Sue?
Right. Yes, we have. Recently, in fact. That didn't stop this writer from selling it to The Atlantic. It's sad that The Atlantic would stoop to this low standard of journalistic integrity. What? Seriously, Singer? Journalistic integrity? The fuck is that? Again, I am forced to reiterate this story rehashes claims from bogus lawsuits filed by a disreputable cast of individuals willing to lie for money and attention. Stormy Daniels, what? And it is no surprise that with Bohemian Rhapsody being an award-winning hit, this homophobic smear piece has been conveniently timed to take advantage of that success. Singer has been taken to court multiple times. Another of the cases against Singer dismissed because of improper blah, blah, blah. Singer is currently facing a lawsuit by somebody that claims he was raped him in 2003. Singer is set to direct Red Sonja. However, an alleged Oscar-winning producer noted it could face distribution problems. Quote, I don't think any domestic distributor will jump on it right now. Given Lerner's statement, it appears that Red Sonja is still on track to be made. While page 6 indicates Singer's career is over outside of Lerner's Millennium Studios, it's too early to tell if these new allegations will sink him for the rest of Hollywood. It's too clear. It's too early to tell if these allegations will sink him with the rest of Hollywood. Report: Bryan Singer's blackballed by Hollywood. Fuck. I don't. Come on, guys. Quit clickbaiting.
Yeah, quick blip. And that's from one we usually kind of like, Bounding.
Yeah, this is from Bounding into Comics. Come on, you guys are better than this, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think he pretty well is blackballed in Hollywood. I don't think it's entirely wrong. I think it's just a little misleading.
Yeah.
Can we also ruminate on the fact that all of those movies are not the good ones that you're thinking of, and are all of the bad ones that we've been seeing trailers for?
I mean,
yeah.
It's did you see the other ones that Millennium Studios had produced? It was like, you know, the Expendables and the new Rambo film. So what? It's like Sylvester Stallone's private studio. What?
Yeah, right. Well, it's Expendables, Rambo, the new Hellboy, and the new Red Sonja. It's like the new Hellboy looks like garbage. Yeah. The Expendables always has been garbage, in my opinion. The new Rambo, why go back and remake Rambo? And then Red Sonja, I've seen nothing for, but I don't have my hopes high.
It can't be worse than the original Red Sonja with Brigitte Nielsen, who couldn't act her way out of anything. But at least like the Expendables movies were supposed to be kind of cheesy and fun. And if you haven't seen Rambo 4, you are missing out. That was a phenomenal movie.
You know what? I got a copy of it, but I still haven't seen it. I'm not trying to avoid it. I just haven't gone around to it.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It takes place in Burma.
Or
Myanmar, it is now called, but Burma at the time. But that was actually a really good movie. If they do it, because I don't know if Rambo's a remake. I think it's actually just the 5th installment. It could be really good. But, yeah, I see your point, Quiz. I don't know. Bryan Singer, the accusations have tainted his reputation. So even if he's innocent, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the sort of thing that I think there is bouncing back from it if the allegations are inaccurate and he is innocent.
Yeah.
Because what's his name? The Nerdist guy, host of Talking Dead.
Chris Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick, that's his name. Yeah, he bounced back kind of.
Yeah, at least the smears on him were pretty obvious. So I don't know. It's just such a mess because Hollywood is filled with degenerate weirdos anyway. So when you hear these stories, of course you're going to believe them.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I have seen Bohemian Rhapsody, and I have really liked it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, you know, the Frosted Glass makes a point that I've thought about. Like, it's off comic books, but like at least Singer and Spacey gave us the usual suspects. Exactly. They're both like accused weirdos in general, right? That are claiming to be, we're just gay men. We're not into teenagers or underage people or whatever. And then you think like one of like the greatest fucking films of like, you know, in terms of like cops, robbers, spies, heist film, etc. Usual Suspects was fucking amazing. It was incredibly directed. Spacey does an unbelievable job in it. It's too bad it was directed by and starring a fucking weirdo, like, you know.
Yeah. It makes it more meta because you think it's about Kaiser Soze, but they're talking about the cast and crew.
Well, all I gotta say about Bryan Singer, he directed the first X-Men movie, the second X-Men movie, and he didn't return to X-Men until Days of Future Past. So he gets a pass, at least from me, for those, because the first two X-Men movies were good.
Days of Future Past is my favorite X-Men movie. But that's mostly because it was like, well, it was a good movie. It was a 70s period movie, which was fucking awesome.
Mhm.
And what criticisms would I have for it? Too much of Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, that's true of all Jennifer Lawrence movies.
Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit
Peter-
fuzzy on the actual comics for Days of Future Past, but was Wolverine involved in any of that?
Yes. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah, he's right on the, yeah. And Peter Dinklage did a fucking outstanding job.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Who did Peter Dinklage play? I've not seen Days of Future Past.
What's his name? The guy who's crusading against mutants. What's his name?
I don't remember. Created the
huge-
Sentinels.
Yeah. Huge guy in
Trask?
X-Men. What is it?
Trask?
Yeah, he plays Trask.
I'm looking at the cast right now. Yep, Boulevard Trask. Wow, nice. Huh,
Yeah.
I may have to see this then.
Yeah, like he plays like a pretty like he's obviously the antagonist in the film, right?
Mhm.
Well, so is what's his name? Michael
Fassbender.
you know, playing Magneto, but not really. He's sort of like the don't know what to think of him, you know, your friendly enemy kind of guy. Like that's, you know, kind of who Magneto
see,
really is, you know.
That's why I don't know if I want to see this movie or not, because to me there can be no other Charles Xavier than Patrick Stewart.
I hear you, but it's like has been said of in the Godfather films. It's like I can't see Robert De Niro playing a young, what's his name? The guy who played Don Corleone in Godfather 1.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. I can't see Robert De Niro playing a young Marlon Brando, but I can see him playing a young Vito Corleone. You know, in the same kind of way, McAvoy doesn't play a young Patrick Stewart, but he does play a very good young Xavier.
Yeah, I thought McAvoy did a really good job. I really like all those movies they did with the younger cast, the McAvoy
First Class and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like McAvoy as Xavier. Like honestly, Quiz, I know you're iffy about X-Men things, but McAvoy does a pretty good goddamn job as Xavier, I gotta say.
Well, it's my whole thing about it is that I X-Men 3 soured me quite a bit. I loved the first two X-Men movies.
It soured everybody. You're not alone.
Yeah, and because of that, I have not seen an X-Men movie since.
Nah, Days of Future Past is pretty fucking epic, man. Gotta say.
All right.
Yeah, give it a chance. Don't watch Apocalypse. That was trash.
It was.
Yeah.
It
I
really
keep on
was.
hearing that First Class, and well, see, that's the thing, is the First Class actually the First Class? Is it Marvel Girl, Beast, Angel, Iceman, and Cyclops?
Not quite.
Yeah,
but
not
it's reinterpretation for Hollywood, so it's not bad. It's just a different story. That's the problem, is you're never going to get a literal translation of a comic book because too many executives want to pander to too many other people. But you do get Havoc.
Well, let's see. I'm just looking at the characters involved in First Class. We got Moira McTaggart, so that's cool. Mystique, Mrs. Xavier. Was Charles ever married? I don't remember that.
No. Who are they calling Mrs. Xavier?
Beth Goddard.
I think they're talking about his mother.
Could be his mother, yeah. Okay, so
Frosted Glass says the one thing that bothers him about that film is after they free Magneto, he does nothing to help. It only becomes a bigger threat. Well, oh yeah, Quiz. You also in Days of Future Past get that epic Quicksilver scene, which is worth the price of admission on its own. Remember where he runs to stop the thing, Jack? Remember where he goes?
William Stryker.
What's that?
William Stryker is in it.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, a young Stryker. Yes.
All right.
I'm telling you, it's a really good precursor film. Like what happened before, and it's a reasonable script use of the material. Like, you know, Jack, you said like it's you know, you get a bunch of Hollywood executives in. Yes, you kind of do, but what comic book stories honestly can be literally translated to the screen? Like 300. okay, but that's more like a storyboard than it was a comic to begin with. You know what I mean? It
is, you could do just about any of them, but you have too many people behind the scenes could pinching pennies, wanting to get merchandise, wanting to get their say in it so they could get a promotion. It's never going to be a literal translation because there's too many generals in the army.
Yeah. I would disagree. I don't think the medium of sequential art a lot of the time can be translated to the screen. There's so much that's going on in between the panels. It's happening in your imagination that actually has to be laid out for you in the visual medium of film. You just, sometimes it just doesn't, a lot of the time it just doesn't work. You can't do it.
I don't know about that. I think there are some that can definitely, you know, get the point across. It's just that you've got to be extremely thrifty with what you put in, what you take out of the movie, because for a comic book, even, you know, like doing a short graphic novel is going to eat up a lot of the time. Especially if you want to show, you know, extremely integral scenes and other scenes that are just sort of, you know, slightly related to the plot overall. It's the sort of thing that only someone of high ambition is going to be able to try and do, and usually it's going to not come out very well. It'd be extremely difficult to try and adapt an actual graphic novel as a movie.
Okay.
I think the reason why.
Think about when they tried it, the animated version of Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how the hell are you gonna, there's so much fucking story there. And yeah, they had to edit out half of it just to make it into like a three. What's that?
I still haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, okay. Just, it's pretty damn good, but you have to leave so much of it in the comic because there's just so much going on there.
I agree, because look at what Netflix is doing. If they would take the source material and adapt it to like a TV series format, but release it all at once, like a 12-hour movie kind of thing, then you could adapt it. They're just not willing to commit the finances and resources to that.
Well, then what about because something that flies straight in the face of what I just fucking said. Killing Joke. Killing Joke, they could have animated just the Killing Joke, and it would have been well under feature length.
You didn't like Batgirl and Batman fucking on a rooftop?
No, I didn't. I didn't like the bat sex. It was weird. It was jarring. I can't get my mind out of the fact that Tara Strong was boinking Kevin Conroy. That was a little weird. Not gonna lie.
You didn't like Batgirl's gay friend at the library?
Oh my god, the character is insufferable. I liked the Killing Joke part of the Killing Joke.
Right, that's what everybody says. Like, can we get a fan edit of this?
Yeah,
like,
right. Warner Brothers, C for trying, but that's not what we were here for. Sorry, don't pad the movie with bullshit. Give people what they actually want to see, even if it's going to only be 30 minutes. It's fine. I would have paid for a ticket for it regardless, which I did. I saw that movie in theaters.
Ryan Walters, that's a terrible joke. It's a terrible, terrible joke.
What?
The National Association of Marlon Brando lookalikes, NAMBLA?
NAMBLA, yeah.
That's not funny. Marlon Brando was a fine actor in his day, and that's a terrible joke.
Marlon Brando was a saint.
No, he wasn't a saint. He was just he was kind of a weirdo, but he was a fine actor in his day. What a horrible association. I've never heard that joke before. That's funny as fuck.
But no, I mean, when it comes to those sorts of stories, I absolutely would love to see a God Loves Man Kills X-Men movie. I think it would be the perfect amount of time, and I think it would actually be kind of a poignant story to put to film. Do I think that it'll ever happen? No, because I think they've been doing the X-Men raw ever since they've been trying to make live action movies of the X-Men. So, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think X-Men is pretty stale at this point. I think they've kind of run out of stuff. Apocalypse kind of did it in, but I mean, what's her name is so great as Jean Grey? Sophie Turner?
Oh, you don't like what's her name? The other one?
No. I know so many people who think she's so sexy and so attractive, and I don't even a little bit. I like Sophie Turner a lot more as Jean Grey.
Well, she's got the MILF appeal. The other one does. Shit. No.
I guess, but like Jean Grey's not supposed to be a MILF, so what the fuck?
No. Well, she kind of is. I mean,
she is now.
Well, yeah. Oh, don't get me down this road. I'm gonna start complaining about how wrong they've done Rachel Summers.
Yeah.
Look, it's.
So we were talking about that before we went live. If you want to go off on that.
Yeah.
Poly rage fuel.
No, it's a great character, and they've just fucking ignored her and done her wrong, man. They've done her wrong. Okay, yeah. Look, on a different note, and a boring one, but we're going to talk about it anyway for a hot minute. Rumor, Major Thor character expected to return from the dead in Avengers Endgame. Any guesses, gentlemen?
Loki, obviously.
Yeah, my guess is Loki. It was like, of course it's Loki. It's going to be Loki. Guess what? It's not Loki.
Is it Odin?
No. Frigga.
Defending Asgard and Jane Foster from the Dark Elf and Frigga. Is that the chick with the retracting shield?
No, it's like the mother figure. Renee, yeah. I still think I'm hot. Russo played her.
Yeah. I remember now.
Right?
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. And it wasn't very memorable, even though I liked it better than some of the other MCU movies.
It's like, I don't know. That's like, seriously, yeah, everyone was just dying for that character to return.
Right.
Like, does Renee Russo, is like, she really desperate to act or something? Do the producers owe her one? Like, I don't understand why. Like, seriously, Loki's like, if you said Queen Frigga, how many people are going to go, oh, yeah, right. Everyone's going to go, who?
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's an ancillary character. She was just kind of there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine that she was there. I'm not complaining. She didn't do anything annoying or ruin the story or detract in any kind of way. It's just like, whatever. And we need more Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Jack Gunsky said, isn't Frigga a man's name? It might be Frigga. Like, I'm not saying it with the proper Norse-ness. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Dune, as in the Dune, like the mountains and the spice and the sleeper has awakened Dune? Or do we want to talk about Jean-Luc Picard? Or or the reason for the title of the stream?
I gave you a softball there when I said that Patrick Stewart was the only Professor Xavier for me, but
yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been a great
segue.
Yeah, well, I dropped the ball. All right, fine. Let's get the rage out of the way before we go on to our man Picard.
Sure.
Let's no, I don't want any notifications from you, Newsarama. Go away. Go away. Okay. Bill Maher tells comic book fans to grow up. Motherfucker that he is. Look at this picture of him. Isn't it? This is a perfect fucking freeze frame of him. Look at this.
Yeah, this condescending sort of half smirk. Yeah.
Like okay, let's play the caption game. Okay, so what's he saying here? For me, he's saying, what do you mean you want $50 for a blowjob? What do you get from that picture, Jack?
What do I get from that picture? It's I pooped myself, mommy.
Oh my god. Okay. Pundit Bill Maher has doubled down on his negative sentiments he previously put forth about adult comic book fans, telling fans, I'm sad you're alive, in a segment from his HBO show, quote, Real Time. They didn't put quotes there. I did. It's just that shows anything but real time. It should be called like elitist smarm time. You know?
Yeah.
The smuggery is so prevalent.
Quote, bragging that you're all about the Marvel universe is like boasting that your mother still pins your mittens to your sleeve, said Maher in the segment. You can, if you want, like the exact same things you did when you were 10. But if you do, you need to grow up. That was the point of my blog. I'm not glad Stan Lee is dead. I'm sad you're alive.
Don't get fucked.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that deserves to die, I think it might be Bill Maher.
How about non-producing pundit so-called comedians? They make me sad they're alive. To quote Ranting Monkey, your life makes me sad, motherfucker. I mean, this guy has been riding off of the same thing. And so I don't know, chat, you guys, if you saw my tweet about it, it summed up my feelings. I tweeted right at him when Jack sent me this story originally a number of days ago that, like, you know, maybe we should get Ice Cube to tell Bill Maher what to think about this. That way he'll turn into a sniveling coward. Like, don't act like you've got hard opinions, Bill. What you've got is a writing team that tries to write edgy comedy for people that are really angry and want to fucking feel superior to everybody else. And it's like, it's when I say edgy, I mean like edgy boy. What, Jack, what were you talking about beforehand? This is like 80s, like Revenge of the Nerds. We got to hate the nerds shit.
Yeah. He's a 1980s bully because that's the last time he was relevant. See, he's an old boomer, so to him, all nerds are like sniveling, drooling butt wipes that you can shove in a locker. So he has absolute contempt for people that he doesn't understand or relate to.
I don't even understand his point. Like, are there, like, I remember in his original blog post, because I went and read it, he went into this thing about, you know, once you get to 10 or 12 years old, it's time to put away, you know, books with pictures and read big boy words. And it's like, Bill, you know what? I'm a doctoral student in political science, and my master's degree wasn't even in what my doctoral degree is in. I've read more books in my life than you ever fucking will. And I still love comic books. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Englentine explained this the best, I think. I think it was Englentine. Bill Maher comes from a generation when you had to grow up, allegedly, where you actually pressure you into putting away things that they thought were kid-oriented. Now you don't have to do that because we have the internet. So you can watch things that you couldn't watch if you were at work. So you couldn't watch cartoons anymore because they were on at 4 o'clock when you were still at work.
Right.
And, you know, socially do things that are more acceptable now. So what his idea is that you are immature for liking something that socially you would have been deemed to be less than intelligent 20, 30 years ago.
No, you know what I need to do? I need to go with exactly what I said to Ranting Feminist once. Hey, Bill, how about you build me a fucking table, you irrelevant sack of shit? How's that working for Gavin McGinnis? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Gavin McGinnis talking about that, and it's like, it made no fucking sense. This guy, it's his whole shtick to do that. Like when you get far progressive liberals busting your chops on Twitter for this, and conservatives busting your chops on Twitter for this thing that you said, like, you got both sides of comicsgate saying fuck you to the same guy. Like, you know that you've tread into some really stupid ass territory when you get anti-comic skaters and comic skaters agreeing that they both fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Like, you've done some stupid things.
It's sort of the equivalent of patting your secretary on the ass. You could do that in the 70s and get away with it. You can't do it now because we live in a society of nerd culture. I mean, look at how much money these movies are bringing in, how much people have nerd stuff around. How many people own video game systems?
Yeah.
I mean, he's outdated, and he's showing his age and ignorance through statements like this.
That's a good point. That's an old man boomer mistake that this so-called comedian made. Yeah. He thought it was like some edgy shit, and like, oh, I'll be able to like smack these people around. I remember his original line: only in a country where comic books are taken seriously could Donald Trump have been elected, because he has to shoehorn it in, right?
Yeah, gotta put in the orange man bad somewhere.
It's like, dude, your entire show is based around a bunch of like-minded people sitting around and getting away with cussing because you're on HBO. Everything is shit and fuck and blah. You know, like it's like, oh, you guys are so edgy. You're so cool. Like, fuck you, Bill Maher.
Well, Bill Maher is pseudo intellectual. So what do you expect from somebody that's like that?
And there's the biggest point, right? This guy's like he's like Don Lemon. He likes to think of himself as an intelligent man. Really, what's your background? What's your education? When you don't have a 16-man writing team helping you out, what are you actually fucking worth? I'd love to sit down and rake this guy over the coals related to his political opinions, much less his thinking about comic books. Like, do I take them deadly seriously? No, I enjoy them. I have fun talking to you guys about them. I hope Chad enjoys us talking about them and interacting with them as well. That's it. We're not taking them as life guidance. Like, what the fuck did you think was going on here, Bill?
Are you saying
Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, I was just asking, is Polydub saying Batman's not real?
Batman's real, Polly.
Well, that's different. That's clearly not what I meant.
No, see, that's the thing, is that, like any other form of fiction, comic books are a medium from which to tell a story. It's just that it involves artwork from some talented, some maybe not so talented artists. The fact that you can feel like you can generalize an entire medium of art, even from lofty standards from which you have absolutely no idea, what you're talking about, which Bill Maher doesn't, speaks volumes of his ignorance. He is the personification of contempt prior to investigation, and he should be ashamed of himself. Every single bone in his body should be leaking the hypocrisy that he is just spewing from his smug little tight hole.
Yeah. And well, okay, the thing that kills me about people that are smug, right? Like, you'll have some I don't know, some like jurist of some sort, like a judge who will like to talk down to you, or somebody who's like a doctor or something, they'll talk down to you. Bill Maher talking down to you. What is your fucking arrogance based on? I love the way Frosted Glass says. Are we talking about the same Bill Maher who appeared in A Million Ways to Die in the West and Ted 2? That guy thinks we should go up. Yeah, exactly, Frosted. Like, this is the guy who appears in like the what's his name? MacFarlane, Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane and Adam Sandler.
Yeah, like these are like bathroom humor, fart jokes, things that make 13-year-olds giggle. And it's like, yeah, and the 13-year-old inside of a grown-up giggle. And that's the kind of fucking humor level that you're on. Like, who the fuck are you fucking kidding? The guy who appeared in House 2 at the peak of his acting career, that shit fest, and now you're wearing a suit and you're talking trash about Donald Trump. And as Joe Lopez points out, he blew $1 million on Hillary Clinton. You're clearly not the sharpest knife in the drawer, motherfucker.
Hang on, Polly. Let's not shit on House 2. That was a fun movie.
I have to bring up one very important thing about this, which actually garnered some respect for in someone that I didn't know I could ever, have a modicum of respect for. Do you know who came out and was denigrating Bill Maher for this thing, and rightly so? Brianna Wu.
When I'm agreeing with Brianna Wu, Bill Maher's really stepped in some serious shit.
Yeah. Bill Maher is absolutely fucking awful. And I think people are finally fucking getting it.
Well, I hope when I'm a pretentious douchebag, I'll surround myself with enough people to say, hey, dial it back. You're being a douche.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I've been saying for a long time that Seth MacFarlane needs to hire a don't do that, that's dumb editor.
Yes.
And one of the very ways to exemplify that is the fact that he hired Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Maher could die in a fire, and I wouldn't care. He's a non-issue because he's a lot like Renfamous in that way. He's one of those people that gets attention because somebody somewhere got their panties all in a twist because he was trying to be edgy and said something that pissed them off. He's a tryhard. We shouldn't give him any attention because he's not funny. He's not that entertaining. And he's not as smart as he likes to pretend he is.
Yeah,
no, not even close to as smart as like I said. It's if you ever read one of Jon Stewart's books, Jon Stewart's a smart guy. He is, but you realize when you read one of his books how many writers and researchers he had helping him. Like they've got a 16 to 24 person writing team on The Daily Show. That's why it seems like he's ultra informed, because it's a posse of people standing behind them. When you see Bill Maher on Real Time and he's just talking with people, he's got nothing but smarmy go fuck yourself comments. You know, it's like, oh, what the fuck do you know, motherfucker? Fuck this fucking guy. Like that's all he's got is like, oh, I'm edgy because I cuss. You're a pathetic old man that likes to associate himself with hip-hop culture because supposedly he listens to rap music, which makes him down, which makes him think he's able to drop N-bombs until Ice Cube comes on and shames the fuck out of him. And then his so-called free speech disappears. So he's got nothing. He ends up looking like an asshole. So what's he going to do? Beat up on comic nerds and somehow associated with Donald Trump? We're talking about one guy in all of this. This is a pathetic man. Fuck him. Let's move on to something else, right?
Yep.
Fuck this guy.
Also, I think he's had a facelift.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. That guy's looking stretched. Yeah, he's got that wind tunnel look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him fade into his dew obscurity.
Well, there's always going to be an audience for people that need to feel smugly superior by having information fed to them. John Oliver fans come to mind. No offense if anyone likes John Oliver. The guy's comedy, he's got pretty good comedic timing, but that smarmy, progressive liberal, no one knows it better than us thing. It's such an old shtick. Let it go.
When he's not talking about politics, he's funny.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like John Stewart or John Oliver doesn't have comedic talent. He does. And back in the day, Bill Maher had comedic talent. They both got timing. What are you guys doing? Fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our man Picard here. I've been wanting to avoid, because I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Everyone knows that. Or if you didn't, you don't, you know now. I've been worried about this new CBS series in and around Jean-Luc Picard with Patrick Stewart because they fucked up Star Trek Discovery.
Series?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was just like coming on to Star Trek Discovery or something.
No, it's a separate series, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Jean-Luc Picard will not be a captain in the new Star Trek series. This is the first that I've read about this series at all because I've been actively trying to avoid it because of the disaster that is Star Trek Discovery. I don't want to see them screw over Jean-Luc Picard in the way that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas screwed over Indiana Jones. You know what I'm talking about?
Too late.
Well,
you don't want a Jean-Luc Picard Crystal Skull is what you're asking for.
That's right. But let's see what it says. Fuck it. Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard will not be a captain in Starfleet in the new CBS All Access Star Trek series. All of this comes from fellow Star Trek The Next Generation alum Jonathan Frakes, who played Starfleet Commander William T. Riker. He directed the most recent episode of Star Trek Discovery. My condolences, Jonathan Frakes. While wrapping up, he sat down with Deadline for an interview and spoke at length about the new show. First up, will we see any surprise reunions with other crew members from the Enterprises D and E? Frakes admits that many are willing and even a bit excited, but he admitted it's unlikely. Quote, the feeling is that the Next Generation cast would love to be part of it, but the feeling is also that it's Patrick Stewart's show. He laughs. Having said that, I can't imagine a world where there's no reference to what happened to the rest of the Next Generation cast. Right after that statement is when he drops a major bomb. Not only is Jean-Luc Picard not a captain, but the series star, Patrick Stewart, is thrilled about making the show. Well, wait a minute. Not only is he not a captain, but he's thrilled about making the show. What, we thought he was bored about making the show? How are those two things a bomb?
Thrilled is in the quotes. Is that, am I supposed to take that as sarcasm quotes?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, do you see that it's kind of weird to lead into it? Like, he drops a major bomb. Not only is he not a captain, but he's also thrilled to be making the show.
I think he's thrilled by the paycheck he's going to get.
Yeah, right.
Patrick isn't playing Captain Jean-Luc Picard this time. He's done with that phase of his career in Starfleet in this show. That's about the only thing I do know about the show. Patrick and I had a steak dinner a couple of weeks ago, and this man, who I've known almost 31 years now, is so excited about this show. He's like a little kid. It's fabulous. He's thrilled and excited to be invited into the writer's room, and he's a producer on the show, and he's part of the development of the story arc. It's terrific. I mean, he's a guy who's fully engaged. Get it? Fully engaged. I saw what you did there, Frakes.
Engage.
That's right. Much like his predecessor, Captain James T. Kirk, the character of Jean-Luc Picard resisted promotion to Admiral. No. Well, he ended up taking it, but then was happy to get demoted back to... Anyway, he insisted he continue his much beloved work as a Starfleet captain. Comic book Comicbook.com reached out to CBS for comment, and this is what they had to say. Quote, "The only thing we confirm is that the series will explore the next chapter in Picard's life, which will be different, as Patrick teased in Vegas." That's not a lot to go by, but it's clear that we're looking at the face of Jean-Luc Picard with years of service post-Star Trek Nemesis. Will we see a post-Dominion War Federation? And if so, how recognizable will the Alpha and Beta Quadrant be to old fans? Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm fine. I'm happy. It's cool.
Nope, they're going to take a totally different route. You're not going to see it coming. It's going to be about two grape farmers, one Picard, and he is competing with the Gorn next door. And they're going to have wacky competitions to see who makes better wine and grapes and whatever else they farm, dirt farming in France. That's what it's going to be. You don't know it now, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a sitcom.
And there's going to be like an episode where him and a Ferengi that's trying to buy his wine get trapped in an elevator.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be like a comic relief version of Data, and they'll be like, Data every.
No, we don't need to see that. That's not. That's.
I don't know about you, man. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many direct, like, that doesn't like, does he have to be a captain? No, he doesn't have to be dragged back into Starfleet duty or anything. Like, there's a million possibilities that are all interesting with Captain Picard just involved with what's going on, not as an officer. That's fine. What?
Well, before he was a captain of the Enterprise, wasn't he a captain of a science vessel? Isn't that his what he really wanted to do?
No. He always wanted to be in command. He had a long-standing interest in archaeology, but no, before he was captain of the Enterprise, he was captain of the Stargazer, which was not a science vessel. It was just a shitty little vessel compared to the Enterprise.
He'll always be the captain of our love. But no, I've heard rumor that what they're going to do is he's going to be like introing flashbacks. So somebody else will play a younger Picard, and he'll be reminiscing of somehow on events that happened before, and somehow it involves time travel, and they're going to change the continuity so that it connects more with what Discovery is, because CBS doesn't own all the rights to the uniforms and all that crap.
Oh.
So since they can't effectively make actual sequels to the original series or to Next Generation, they need to work it into where they change all this stuff so they can maintain all the rights to everything and have a straight continuity that they can work with.
Those are the rumors that, if you haven't heard, Quiz, actually are flying around. They're attempting to.
They're attempting J.J. Abrams, The Next Generation,
in such a way where CBS ends up, because Star Trek as an intellectual property has been, we've talked about this before on like other streams and Star Trek related stuff, right? Where it's been the intellectual property that is Star Trek is broken up into a million little pieces. Think of it as a pie that's been cut into way too many slices, and 5 lawyers over here and a part of a production studio up in Scenic Acres, California, and then some guys in New York all own, like, the actual texture of the fabric is part of the intellectual property that isn't owned by CBS Paramount, believe it or not. Like the Starfleet Delta insignia is another thing that is not owned by, like, the list goes on. So what they're going to do with the Picard series is do time travel, like Jack says, and make it combine and wipe out the original continuity. So what is the quote prime continuity of Star Trek is wholly owned by CBS Paramount. So anything that they don't own gets wiped out of continuity. See what I'm saying?
So that means the original Star Trek series and Next Generation and Voyager and all that has to go away.
Right.
They're going to adjust the continuity through the magic of Q, probably, and fix it that way.
Who even knows if Q is owned by CBS Paramount? Like, the character, the name, John Delancey's face, like, fuck, it's a nightmare.
Q, though, that they can remember in the original Star Trek series, the guy that played the piano dressed like a French aristocrat.
Hell yeah.
He never had a name.
The Squire of Gothos was all they called him. Yeah.
So they can use him and recreate it, and they don't have to call him Q. He could just remain nameless.
I hear you. I see your point.
So yeah, they're gonna find a way to screw it all up, and I think they're really upset that they're bleeding money off of Star Trek STD.
Right. That's the number one thing, is that we, you know, not only off of STD, but when they announced that, oh, we're going to do a spin-off from STD and it's going to star Michelle Yeoh, and everyone was like, yawn. And so they activate their media assets to say, well, this is about sexism and racism. Right, because there wasn't a female captain that was warmly received and a black captain that was warmly received. It's because she's not white and a woman. Fuck off, CBS.
Right? I would be more interested in watching Michelle Yeoh than the crap STD, because Michelle Yeoh is actually a decent actor and she's still MILF-tastic.
But and thus it boils down to what? Your stories suck. You're trying to make Star Trek into a fucking action adventure when really it's a thriller, cerebral horror thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's
horror.
What makes. Yeah, there's lots of horror elements inside of Star Trek, definitely.
Yeah, based around certain episodes, maybe.
Well, yeah, when I say horror, horror as in like psychological thriller. So thriller would be the better term. Yeah. Mike DeColossa from Letter Media made this argument, well, kind of getting off track here, but whatever, we're all nerds here. Made this argument that if you look at the original series TOS Star Trek, that it can be better understood as a horror series than a science fiction series. And it was a very persuasive argument. And I got what he meant. Yeah, there's monsters sometimes, but not horror in the way of like Friday the 13th, horror in the way of like thriller. And it's like, you know what? That's not a bad argument, Mike DeColossa. I see what you're saying.
Well, so I think there's arguments for other kinds too. I mean, not just thriller, but, you know, like body horror and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man versus nature, man versus himself. Yeah. There's a lot of like very primal fears in there.
But one thing it's not is stupid, splody, fast-paced schlock. That is not Star Trek. That is boring, and it's not even worth the one watch.
Oh, I think that lady named Michael would disagree with you, because her Mary Sue-ness would her, and you're just a hateful bigot monster.
Apparently I am. And I love the way that Diversity in Comics said it, because he's reviewing STD now on his channel, right? Because he's bored and he's in between fulfillment of Iron Sights, and he's waiting on whatchamacallit, delivery of Jawbreakers, thank you. And so he's got time to be watching stuff, and he's binging STD, and so he's reviewing it on his channel. It's so worth watching his reviews. He's like, I like this episode. This one was just confusing. This is not Star Trek, and let me explain why. And he's kind of slightly warmer than lukewarm on Star Trek. That's where he comes out on it as a franchise, right? But even somebody like that can recognize, look, you can't turn it into what you're trying to turn it into. It's just not working. You're making it schlock, and that's why it's failing. And it's always been progressive. So trying to make it progressive, hey, I got a bag full of fucking middle fingers for you here, because this is the wrong shit to try it with. That makes no sense. It's like, oh, we've got a black woman as captain. Yeah, nobody cares in the 24th century. The point is they've moved way beyond that. Shut up. Do you know what I mean? Like it was no thing to have a female captain. Did you see any of them talking about that on Voyager? No, because it wouldn't have made any sense. She had command, and that was the end of the story. Move on. Yep. Like but no, they have to make a big deal of it in the show, and fuck, you guys are just lost. They've lost the plot, literally.
Yeah. I remember that classic episode of Star Trek Voyager where everyone was questioning Captain Janeway's opinions because she's a woman, right?
That dizzy broad thought she was in charge. She was a janitor.
And you have to hire people that are credible in the role. And they hired Kate Mulgrew, who has a certain amount of gravitas as a Shakespearean actor. You don't have to like her. I'm just saying she was credible in the role.
Yeah, but Captain Janeway Hepburn. Yeah, we're going to Golden Pond.
But see, you're criticizing a particular taste for the actress. You're not criticizing her credibility in the role. Putting somebody who's like 25 and hot and sexy and looks like she spent 4 hours in the mirror getting ready for command duty. Like, no, that's not credible. You see what I'm saying? It's like the femme fatales that they have when they've got, hot, sexy lady in tight leather pants beating the shit out of 250-pound guys, and she weighs maybe 110 pounds. No, that's not credible. No one's buying it. And in the same way, you got to hire people that are credible for the role. Like, look at Jean-Luc Picard. That guy's credible to be in command. Look at Avery Brooks. The guy's got a commanding personality. It makes sense to put him in command.
Oh, so they're credible because they have penises? See how it is,
I give up. You win. Monster. I'm a racist. Fine.
No, I like Sorry, Chris. I like Frosted Glass's idea. Telenovela Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like meaning short form?
No, like soap opera.
Oh. Great.
Isn't that kind of what it was? I mean, those episodes that dealt with what's her name? Crusher and Picard kind of were.
No, they need the music too. That
oh yeah, the stings.
Yeah, the long stairs and.
Oh, I didn't notice this. I love this from Ryan Walters. STD. It gets around. Nobody wants it, but it keeps coming back. Yeah, exactly. How the fuck season 2 got greenlit? Oh, I know. Because CBS streaming has literally nothing else to watch on it. I love the way that Diversity in Comics, your boy Zach said that. He goes, the only reason I got it, like paid for the $5.99 or $6.99 a month for whatever it is, right? The only reason I got it was for Star Trek Discovery. And they're coming out with one episode a week, and he didn't realize that. He thought he was going to binge watch all of it, but they're only dropping like one episode a week. So he's like, I'm going to have this fucking thing for 3 months now. And I'm like, well, there's got to be something else to watch. There isn't. He's like, the only other thing to watch is the prequel to Big Bang Theory, and who the fuck wants to watch that? I'm like, right?
Why does that exist?
It does exist, yes.
Yeah, why?
Oh, why? Because they have no ideas. Like, that's why.
Yeah, I don't get it. They thought this was going to be a big deal, and they took the absolute SJW approach, thinking that would sell it. And apparently they haven't learned the get woke, go broke mantra.
Like, and they did it. CBS proved the point better than I think anybody could. You took a show that was progressive from the late 60s was progressive, and you tried to make it progressive in 2018. You fucking retards. You deserve all the failure you got.
I think we would be more accurate by saying it was liberal, and they tried to make it extreme progressive, because there was some middle ground that they could play with. It was a little more socially aware, but they really took it in a much darker direction of SJW nonsense, just like Doctor Who.
Yeah, it was progressive in the dictionary meaning of the term in the late 60s.
Yeah.
In 2018, they made it progressive in the 4-letter sense of the word. Fuck. Like, you know, they fucked it. And it became very SJW. Yeah. Like, when it was their deliberate intention and they actually promoted through their media assets that it passes the Bechdel test in the first scene of the first episode. Fuck you.
Garbage.
So I was going to say, well, the original Star Trek would pass the Bechdel test. I don't think Uhura ever had a conversation with anyone about another man. I mean, but to another woman. Okay, good point.
Yeah, talking to another woman and not talking about a man.
Yeah.
Even though the man might be like the central protagonist or the person that they're talking about, like not because he's a man, but because, I don't know, whatever fucking reason the plot requires. That's why the Bechdel test fails, like itself. And was never meant to be used as that, but whatever. Let's move on.
Well, that's another thing that made me mad about Discovery was most of the men aren't men. They're a bunch of navel-gazing half-women because they sit around whining all the time. They don't, like in the original series, people just stepped up and did their fucking jobs. Mm-hmm. Even Uhura was more of a man than 90% of the male characters on STD.
They're helpless. The male characters. They're incompetent, literally incompetent at their jobs.
Yeah, of course, because they're men. They're evil and broken. They're fractured women.
All right, let's move on very quickly to this Dune, because apparently Dune's happening, guys. I don't know. Oscar Isaac is going to play Duke Leto Atreides. Leto Atreides?
No.
The guy from House Atreides.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to remember. It was the big-haired guy in the 80s movie, right? Like, I saw it, but it was a while back. Good while back. The only reason I saw it is because somebody said it's the most baffling science fiction movie ever made. And I was like, more baffling than 2001? And they were like, well, no, 2001 was just like attempting to be so high-minded that like Kubrick lost his entire audience and we're not even sure what point he was trying to make. You know what I mean? Where like Dune is just like, what the fuck is even supposed to be going on?
I know what the message of that movie was. Lay off the cocaine.
Of Dune or of 2001?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my internet took a shit for a second there.
They asked you which one, Dune or
2001.
2001.
Dune. In Dune, he was just doing too much cocaine, and that was the message of the movie: was drugs are bad. Okay.
Because was that what's going on? Spice. He saw it as like an allegory for Dune?
No, I think he did a lot of drugs and could focus on making a movie that made sense.
Like they're drinking squished bugs and Sting's virtually naked, and you got the guy with the skin sores flying in his chair, and this guy is
that's Duke Atreides from the old movie.
Hold on here.
If you're
there we go.
Asking about his big hair.
Yeah, that's okay. And he gets killed like a third of the way through the film, right?
I don't know. I've never seen this movie, dude.
Oh yeah.
Everyone always talks about Dune, but I've never seen it.
You should suffer through it once. Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Just to do
it's
it.
not inspiring confidence.
I know. I shouldn't have said it that way, but it's like the Star Wars holiday special. You should suffer through it at least once. Like,
hey man, the Star Wars holiday special had
Tim Conway?
No,
B. Arthur?
B. Arthur, that's it. And no one's better than B. Arthur.
To be fair, if you mute Dune and watch it, visually it's a pretty well put together movie. Just write your own dialogue, it'll make more sense.
Okay.
Write your own plot.
Oh, you don't need that. This is a movie.
I mean, seriously, he goes to Dune. It's the only place you get this spice. You need the spice because that's the only way that they can travel, because there's no faster than light travel. They need the spice to be able to do it. So this planet, Arrakis, Dune, nicknamed Dune, is the only source of this spice, so it's very important. This one house takes it over, and then the prince decides to go out into the desert and join with the desert folk and starts looking at the moon and names himself after it and becomes a new messiah, and then the movie ends. What the fuck?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean you're talking more mushrooms than coke, man. Coke is just a heavy stimulant.
I say what kind of coke trip are we talking about here? Are we talking like Caligula coke trip?
No, it's way worse than that.
Because that movie was a fucking... Right. That was a ride.
Let me retract my cocaine statement. We'll call it a bath salts film.
Okay.
Yes, that makes more sense. Anyway, Oscar Isaac's going to be in it. So you got Poe Dameron / Apocalypse is going to be up there directing House Atreides activities on the Sand Planet.
Well,
oh God, you know what I just thought of? Can you imagine all the scenes with the CGI fucking sandworms? Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be all full of them.
Fuck.
It could be good.
It might be good. Listen to the optimism. Listen.
Frosted Glass just blew my mind. He said his theory is that B. Arthur's character was Rey's real mother.
I love it. That's good.
Dude,
yeah, she was on Tatooine, but then again, that wasn't whatever in The Force Awakens. That wasn't the Tatooine stand-in. What was it called?
I don't know.
Desert Planet 56 doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Who cares? It was Tatooine for all intents and purposes. In any case,
it was Tatooine, wasn't it? Weren't they on Tatooine
in Force Awakens?
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive it was just that fucking ridiculous. No, that was not like that movie was such a rehash of A New Hope,
worst
of Star Wars
ever.
Yeah, dude, it was such a rehash that they had another desert planet with another young person who wanted to that dreamed of adventure and wanted to get off this dusty planet that they couldn't stand. Are you sensing a recurring theme here? Like
no, she was Mary Sued up, so she was already ready for adventure.
No, there's Zelthor and Frosty. Jakku.
Yeah, I was gonna say our resident Stairwares master Zelthor just said Jakku.
Yeah. And Mustafa's like, it may well have been Tatooine. Like it should have been. Like, well, yeah, exactly. Like, what's the fucking difference? They go to a fucking cantina. There's a droid that's carrying secret information. Sounding familiar? I mean, come on.
They fed the secret plans to a hungry soccer ball.
No, it wasn't a remake. It was better because it had a woman. Jeez, Polly.
That does automatically make it better. But there is other Dune news, and it comes from the Mary Sue.
Oh, God.
The new Dune movie has our full attention with Zendaya in casting talks. That's right, y'all. Zendaya.
I don't even have the vitriol you have for her because I've never seen the Homecoming movie, but just the name itself is enough for me to get the shakes from all of the fart huffing self-righteous and self-importance that the name just seems to exude.
Yeah, well, just the name Zendaya.
I'm telling you, man, it's a great perfume commercial. Be more with Zendaya. And now it'll be like, now the spice is yours with Zendaya.
Now she plays MJ, but not really MJ, because she's like Maria Juarez, not Mary Jane. You know what I mean? That's not really her name, Maria Juarez. That's just what I call her. And she's like the little SJW character in there who happens to be going by the name MJ, just so Peter can have a female character to foil off of named MJ, but it's not really MJ. Like, what the fuck? Why did you even do that at all then? And you mentioned fart huffing self-righteousness. Well, let me get into some my Zelthor, leave. You can go now, man. I liked Zendaya.
No, I think he's thinking of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I what do you mean, buddy?
Zendaya is my favorite Zelda.
Like, look, and you mentioned self-righteousness, okay? Here's my own self-righteousness, and this is the beef that I hold against Zendaya, okay? Let's just
get right into it.
Come on. Laura Harrier. This is the character that she replaces in Peter Parker's life. Look at this beautiful woman. This beautiful woman.
Anger directed in a creepy way. I'm proud of you.
I mean, look at that smile. It'll melt your heart. I mean, look at this woman. She's breathtaking. And Zendaya is replacing this beautiful creature. You got to be fucking kidding me.
All right, let's be fair. If you look at them side by side, Zendaya is more likely to do butt stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Whatever that's supposed to mean.
I mean, she has looser morals, Polly, and a looser butthole.
Yeah, you slip right in there. Whereas Laura Harrier, that's going to be a little bit of work to crack into that code.
Because she's a lady.
Better quit your job as a journalist.
Learn to code, Zendaya.
My friends call me MJ. Fuck right off. Yes, Johnny Hellcat. Exactly. It's just your friends don't call you. You have no friends to call you anything.
No, her friends call her Zendaya.
You go around pointing out the how everything's problematic and everything's racist and everything. No, people don't like hanging around people like you, Zendaya. At least your MJ character anyway. God help you if you're that way in real life.
I don't huff my farts. I huff Zendaya.
And that brings us to the end of our stories for today, which causes us to round up to our comic book pitches. And I need a second to get organized. So if one of you two gentlemen would like to go first, I'd be appreciative.
I can't. I'm huffing Zendaya over here.
Give me 1 second to open my stuff up here.
Got the vapors.
Oh, I gotta fuck with my bandwidth again. All right, for mine, I picked X-Men and the Micronauts.
Nice.
This is a 4-issue miniseries which features a toy tie-in written by Chris Claremont and Bill Mantlo, drawn by Jackson Geiss, I believe. His name's covered up at the bottom, so I can't read it. But this is the first time that we ever experienced Charles Xavier going off the deep end and becoming Dark Xavier. So remember that whole Onslaught storyline from the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where they got the idea. They just stole it from Chris Claremont and Bill Mantlo.
Well, didn't Chris Claremont write those stories with Onslaught?
I don't know, but I know the editorial direction was forced upon the Onslaught writers.
Okay.
So they were, because they had a contract with Rob Liefeld and Willis Portacio and all those other guys to do Heroes Reborn. So, yeah, but this was a great storyline. People get miniaturized. They hang out with the Micronauts. It's the classic X-Men team. So you got Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Cyclops, Storm. This girl's name I forget off the top of my head. And it was a great little mini-series. It was a lot of fun. It's the type of fun you don't see anymore in comic books, in modern Marvel. So, and the Micronauts made for cool additions because they're so tiny and they're from inner space. And they had Baron Karza, you can kind of see back here, and who was always a cool villain. And the Marvel Micronauts series was a lot of fun. So this was just a great little 4-issue miniseries. The art is the same on the inside as the cover. So if you like the cover art, it's the same artist inside. Because they used to do that.
Yeah, right. No. At one time. Yeah.
No. Yes. I shouldn't have delved deep. What? Do you know who Onslaught was created by? Scott Lobdell.
Yep, strike one.
Andy Kubert. And Mark Waid.
Yeah, Mark Waid did a lot of Marvel comics at the time. So
Insanity years. Yeah.
Yeah,
1996.
It was before he went all SJW. But Onslaught is a great comparison to Mark Waid because he started out as one of the good guys and then became the evil he fought against.
Yep.
So somebody Photoshop Mark Waid's head on Onslaught and send it to me on Twitter because I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, right. And I say Onslaught is actually kind of a cool looking character too. He's like this this hyper spiky, very Spawn looking Magneto.
Yeah, if you haven't read Onslaught though, it's very ham-fisted. Like
extremely, yeah. I was trying to remember if he was part of Age of Apocalypse, but I couldn't remember. This is what Onslaught looks like.
Yeah. But yeah, so X-Men Micronauts was a good miniseries from, I believe, 1984, I want to say.
Collected edition?
I haven't seen it collected because Marvel lost the license.
For Micronauts, okay.
Yeah. Now, IDW has it now, but I won't rule out the possibility that there is one. I just had never seen it.
Okay.
So that's my pitch.
Nice. Oh, Quiz, do you want to go or shall I?
I can go. Okay. My pitch today is written by Dennis O'Neil, penciled by Michael Netzer, inked by Joe Rubinstein, letterer by Todd Klein, and colorist Lovern Kindzierski, I think. My pitch is Batman and Green Arrow, The Poison Tomorrow.
Okay.
It's essentially the story about how there's this evil scientist. Well, not really an evil scientist. He's manipulated to be evil by Poison Ivy, who contracts this sort of illness and is going around a desperate plea to try and cure himself of this this disease that Poison Ivy had infected him with. But in the process of his desperate plight to try and cure his illness, he has a run-in with Green Arrow and Black Canary when they're, just out and about, not in their superhero garb. And he bites Black Canary which causes her to get infected with this disease, and she's dying. So Green Arrow comes to Batman ready to, kick his ass. And Batman himself is trying to figure out a way to, solve this case, because he's a lunatic ransacking a store and he's stopping regular street crime. And it leads into wider implications with Poison Ivy. And they both try to get together and stop Ivy from her machinations, which was to spread this sort of ecological disease all across this contaminated botanical area of Gotham, and which would eventually, spread over all of Gotham. So overall, I really like this story. It's a way to really get the Green Arrow and Batman together for a really cool story. And highly recommend it.
Nice. the Poison Tomorrow?
The Poison Tomorrow.
Okay.
It's actually a prestige format trade. So
Shady grins. Lee spoilers galore.
Yeah, right. I didn't give away a lot of the big stuff. So
I just like that. Sorry.
Go ahead. What?
I was just gonna say, I like that Poison Ivy was giving us the finger on the cover.
Yeah, right.
Excuse me. For those of you who remember, last week I pitched a story arc, Gang War, from Spider-Man, and that got me thinking that I wanted to continue to pitch story arcs that are available as cheap old editions, like in the back issues for like $1 a piece, or collected editions because there's story arcs. And I didn't. Gang War unfortunately was never collected, but the one I'm pitching this week is in the form of, there we go, the Hobgoblin story arc. Not only is this a super hyper cool cover, introduces the Hobgoblin as a serious enemy, not his true origin story, but yeah, Green Goblin was over and done with. So they introduced the Hobgoblin into Amazing Spider-Man. There are multiple collected editions that collect all the major storylines, all the major issues through Spectacular Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man that carry the Hobgoblin storyline in them. But all of them, and I did check on Amazon, all carry the same 2 issues, which they rightfully should. Number 250 and 251. This is the big showdown between Hobgoblin and Spider-Man when they fight it out. Hobgoblin basically wants to find out what Spider-Man's secret identity is. That's his big plot. The Hobgoblin's a gangster. He's out for money. He's not a vigilante and he's not a supervillain. He's in his own employ and plying out his trade to Kingpin and to the Rose and to any other criminal who's willing to hire him. He's basically a terrorist for hire. He's a super criminal for hire. That's what makes him an interesting guy, as opposed to, a mad criminal who's out there just to cause crime. And Spider-Man is stopping him from his accumulation of wealth. That's why he wants to find out who Spider-Man is, because he knows that Spider-Man is simply a do-gooder. So that's the plot throughout this, is I'm going to find out who this is. And Spider-Man starts thinking the Hobgoblin must be Harry Osborn, because after all, the Green Goblin, and he can't think outside of the Green Goblin. Peter Parker can't. Keeps thinking that his friend here, Harry, must be the Hobgoblin, and he's lying about it. Of course, Peter's dead wrong. The Hobgoblin is not. It has nothing to do with the Osborns at all. The story comes up in 251. And again, whichever collected edition you buy, 250 and 251 will both be in there. Critical story. Great cover, by the way, where where they end up fighting it out. And this is one of the times where they come down to it in the end. Like, we're gonna end this right now, Spider-Man. And it's just a great storyline. It's not over the top. It's a very New York based superhero versus supervillain in them fighting against each other. The Goblin actually has the Goblin van, and you see it here. Which is just, it's got all his tech in it. if you know what I mean. Like it's got a goblin glider in the back. You can fly out of it, and missiles and every other damn thing. And you're Spider-Man trying to get back from it. It's great old-timey Spider-Man story. You can't go wrong. And there's 3 different collected Hobgoblin editions that I saw on Amazon, all of them for a reasonable price. Totally worth having. But if you just want to grab back issues at your local comic book shop, which would be a great way to do it, grabbing issues 250 and 251, they could be had for so cheap. And they're a great read. And like all comics at the time, Jack, remember this? When the whole page was used to tell a story?
I don't know what that is anymore.
Look at all the words.
What bothers me is that at some point they never stop and just eat some pie.
Right?
Oh yeah, the one thing I forgot. This there's a neat thing, and I can't think of another way to call it, but neat. Look what they put up at the top. The Hobgoblin.
Steal it. Yeah, I was reading that before.
One of the best window inclusions ever on any comic, Marvel or otherwise. The Hobgoblin encouraging you to steal this issue. Because he's a crook, and that's what he's after. He's after money, and he simply took on this demonic Hobgoblin guys to further that end. He's not crazy. He's a gun for hire, and Spider-Man's in his way, and it's a great face-off between them. Totally worth reading. And that's my pitch.
Nice.
So that's a goblin van. It looked more like a goblin Winnebago to me.
It is a modified Winnebago. It's true.
Yeah.
You saw the W, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I was gonna save a specific reference for later, but since you brought up the window panels, I kind of have to share one from one of my favorite comic series of all times, and I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but hold on, damn it, fucking panel keeps vanishing on me. This is the greatest corner panel of all time. Rom in a smoking jacket.
What the hell?
That's from Rom issue 50.
Hold on, what is going on in this picture? I'm trying to make sense.
He's got a pipe, and he's hanging out with his lady friend who's wearing a apron and a cooking gloves.
Oh, okay, I can make it out now. Right, right.
He's got an ascot.
He's got an ascot.
Yeah, they did a lot of funny shit like that in the old days. Back when they had fun making comics instead of being all super serial about it.
Yeah.
Rom the Space Knight's a Mac, man.
Hell yeah.
And it there's the thing. It's like Marvel's going to find some way, like Marvel of today is going to find some way to make their bottom line continue on. Their parent company, Disney, has endless bottomless pockets to keep them afloat. You don't need to buy new comics if they're not interesting. We're referencing like old comics, stuff that can be bought on LCNs. That's why in our final thoughts, we're always talking about check online, and Quiz always says check at local conventions and stuff. And I'm starting to like pitch individual issues that can be had as a collected edition if you want to do that, or as individual standalones like Amazing Spider-Man 250 and 251 if you want that Hobgoblin main storyline there. You can still enjoy comics in a huge way and enjoy them when they used to be enjoyable. This SJW time is not going to last forever. When it comes back around, then start buying new ones. You know what I mean? Like if you're just wanting to get into comics, people DM me about that. Where should I start? What should I start with? Don't start with new stuff. You're not going to enjoy it as much as the old stories, because now they're not all bad. But like the new Spider-Man stuff isn't as good as the old stuff. And until they get new writers on, there isn't much to be done. You know what I mean? It's
so much of what is out now is at best mediocre, that finding an actual good book that's going to be something you'll want to revisit is really kind of getting harder and harder to find.
Yeah. There's a good point to revisit. These comics have no rereadability factor.
Yeah. Like, yeah, because even some of the good ones, I'm never going to read them again.
Yeah. Like, it's like my old Silver Surfers, my old Spider-Mans, my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when Eastman and Laird were still doing it. Those have a huge rereadability factor to them. You want to look at them again and again and appreciate. You were piling through with the story, so you weren't stopping to appreciate the art. You were simply following the sequential story with the art. And then you want to go back and appreciate what the artist did, etc. And, that's part of the rereadability. And you don't have that with modern comics. There isn't enough to hold your attention the first time through, for Christ's sake,
Yeah.
But, What a sad commentary, man.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, if anyone is ever asking about where to start for comic stuff like that, just start with a story. It doesn't really matter about trying to go for the continuity sort of factor when it comes to these sorts of stories, at least not anymore.
Start with an arc. That's a really good suggestion. Pick an arc that seems interesting to you, that grabs your attention for one reason or another. It's a great place to go. Like it in whatever collected edition, or look up, like if you love Batman, right? There's so many great Batman story arcs. There's Mud Pack. There's like, or standalone editions. Like there's Batman the Cult, which is really good. There's like, oh fuck, the list goes on. Look up, just Google top 10 Batman story arcs. There's 1,000 nerds like us that have posted their own lists, and they'll have similar stories on them. You know, Spider-Man's your thing, same thing. Look up Spider-Man story arcs, and you'll find them, like all the Venom stories, and you know, forget about Tom Hardy and all this fucking weirdo sexualization of it that's coming out of nowhere. What the fuck?
No, to be fair, that sexualization has been going on for quite a while. It's not just with the movie. But no, you know, that's a good way to do it. There's you know, tons of stuff. Not only that, is that there's also a whole bunch of stories that are going on mid run that have absolutely nothing to do with each other. One that immediately comes to mind, I know Jack didn't really like it, but there's the Batman Catwoman wedding. That was itself its own self-contained story. And then from the same series, but it's actually a good story, there's Batman Endgame. I found that series to be great, but it's a self-contained story. And it was like, you know, was it Batman? Like it was a weird number. It was like, you know, Batman 200 and like Gotham Academy 12 and like a whole bunch of other comics all crammed together as a graphic novel and a collected edition. It's all part of the same story, but it's its own self-contained story. You don't have to worry about reading previous issues.
And there it is. That's episode 30. And not only is it a nice round number of episode 30, I'm happy to say that we just passed a nice round number of subscribers, and we just passed 400 subs, which is pretty cool. I was wondering if we should do a 400 subscribers special, because we did a 300 and people were like, no, don't be corny. Just wait till 500. And I was like, okay, fine. Well, assuming we ever get to 500, we'll do a 500 sub special.
Or 1,000. It might be a little bit better.
Oh, come on.
Make it seem not overeager.
What kind of dreams are you having? 1,000 subs? That's going to happen, please.
I'm hoping. Let's say we're at 413 to be precise.
Yeah. And thank you to all the subscribers. And thank you, of course, to everybody in chat who came out. We always appreciate you guys here. Oh, and if you haven't already, please feel free to hit that like button. It definitely does help. And to anybody listening into the future, hello from the past, feel free to add comments down below. I love reading them and get a chance to answer pretty much every single one. So if you have any questions, answers, or just generalized comments, would love to hear from you. Jack Quiz, any final thoughts?
Go buy some comic books and enjoy your hobby. Ignore all the drama. Find something you like and buy it.
Very good suggestion. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to do it. If I could give any advice to anyone who's trying to get into comics, don't feel like you have to be a continuity hound. You don't need to read all 1,000 something issues of Superman. Just find the Superman that looks interesting and begin with that story.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing about... I hear people say that. Intimidation, I don't know where to start. The continuity is mind-blowing, especially with X-Men. People talk about it because there's insane long continuity and lore behind it. I don't fucking worry about that. Pick a fucking story arc and go from there. You will pick it up a hell of a lot faster than you think you will. You know what I mean? Like the good comics, especially back in the day, the good arcs are good and legendary for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like they contain all the story they need to make it work. You know,
the important thing is to enjoy the hobby. You know, have fun with it. You don't have to get all tied up in the nuance unless you want to. If you got the free time to read everything, cool. But if you don't, just grab a story that looks interesting.
And on that note, we will wrap it up. But a final thought from me: Laura Harrier's hot. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Right.